Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Come on in and take a seat, Panther fans, to the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet. Cody, let's try that branding graphic while we're here, the one I just made, and see how it works. My name's Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Today was the trade deadline for the NFL. The Panthers were not a part of it, which is good, I think, for a lot of fans who are kind of trying to find some stability and some direction going forward. But we've got news about Brian Burns and how the Rams offered 2 first-round picks for him. This is the second team, or maybe it's the same team coming back at it again. We don't know. But we do confirm that the Rams were interested in Brian Burns. There have been moves around the league, and the Carolina Panthers, fortunately, were not a part of it. On top of that, we've got reactions to the Panthers' loss against the Atlanta Falcons. And most importantly, we'll be asking, can the Carolina Panthers vie for the NFC South? And will Steve Wilks earn the head coaching job in the process? Right now, and that's the name of the show. Well, the name of the show, Cody, what is it officially? It looks a little different.
The name of our show tonight is Can the Carolina Panthers and Steve Wilks still vie for the NFC South? Huge show tonight, man. Look, so many different discussion points. Are we tanking? Are we still competing in the NFC South? We didn't trade anyone, so what does this front office think about this team? What do the teammates think about this team? And Tony Dunn, what do the best Panther fans in all of YouTube think about this team? You already know them and love them. Our guys, Drew, Hector, Macho, Camacho, James Island Panther, Jay Prey, Jeff R., Joey the Blind Panther Esquivel, John B. Jenkins, Michael Johnson, Pad One Panther, Panther Pickle, Panthers Are Kings, Smells Like Blue, and Skunk Ape Mysteries. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
Fantastic night to be part of the show. The number's 252-228-5098. We'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions on the Carolina Panthers and the NFL. What we're going to do going forward is Panero, no dinero to blame. Can Steve Wilks win this job? Is Akemakwanu the guy? And it turns out, it seems like he already is. And hopefully everybody had a nice, happy Halloween. I did not see any Carolina Panther player outfits, which was interesting. In the past, I always felt like you always saw NFL players dressing up. So we've got that, plus more to talk about. The refs, as Cody Lack and Greg like to talk about it. Cody Dizzle. I'd like to welcome in the other guys. Hey, not just because they're below us does not mean they are less than us. Greg, the Bat Daddy, the Stat Daddy, the coolest dude with the coolest beard. Welcome back to the C3 Panthers Podcast. And he's muted.
That's why I'm on the bottom right there. That's why
never fails.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's definitely getting stronger. We were just talking about that before the show, but I'm kind of surprised to see no movement for Carolina on this trade day, but I'm not upset with it at all because I like the nucleus that we have. I definitely wouldn't want to get rid of Brian Burns. The only trade I could have thought of that in my mind I would have liked would have been the Chubb one, but it would have depended on what you had to do to give up.
Well, it turns out it was a first and a fourth, and we're not really interested in dealing that. Maybe we're sellers, if anything, not buyers, in my opinion. But I think this is that, who we had to offer is kind of important to our identity going forward. So I think that really what we did was the correct move. Cody, the man with the golden pipes, he's going to be a father. Well, he's already a father. The man who just cuts it under the radar, just like Tony usually does. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, man, living dreams, man. Just happy to be here. Made it just in time for the show. I thought I was going to be a little late, and we were a little late getting started, so that worked out perfectly as I joined in, and we get to talk about the Carolina Panthers and whether or not this is a lost season or if, in fact, we have something to fight for, and the lack of activity on our GM's part with regard to moving personnel through that trade deadline tells me they're in it to win it this year, boys.
In it to win it. Well, can they or are they out of it will be one of the questions we ask. The number's 252-228-5098. Do not forget, tonight's show is sponsored by Manscaped. Look, I got one of their fresh, beautiful, wonderful T-shirts on right now. So comfortable. Manscaped is the premier male grooming product, name brand, company. It is, you can't beat it. Manscaped, use the promo code Panthers. You get 20% off plus free shipping, and you get the opportunity to get cool stuff like this. If you got a hairy nose, I always get these nose hairs right here on the left side of my nose, and they just so you have two options. You can do the old rip and tug where your eyes water like crazy. Pulling nose hairs is immediate,
No fun.
eye watering. Yeah. So you can get this weed whacker and take care of that without the pain. You can get the Lawnmower 4.0 in case you get busy and make a baby like CK did. You need to be ready. You need to be prepared. You need to be clean cut, ready to go at a moment's notice. And like Greg said, your beard is hair as well, right? You got to take care of all of your body, not just the hair on your head, but you got to make sure you're clean and cool and refreshed below the belt. And you can do that with this wonderful crop preserver. This is the stuff that is made. This has saved lives, folks. This is like Spam for the Russians in World War II. In the modern world, in North Carolina in the summertime, this will keep you clean. Manscaped, the premier male grooming products. Use the promo code Panthers, 20% off plus free shipping. Let's go ahead and jump into the show. What's up first, Cody? Let's see. This is the Carolina Panthers are coming off a loss where really an opportunity to not really an opportunity. It was an opportunity. The Carolina Panthers go into Atlanta and somehow strangely under 500 are vying for first in the NFC South. Played one of their, I don't want to say the defense played one of its best games, but man, they've been playing football that can win games right now. The offense has put up more points. I think probably the most points in like 5 years, it felt like. I wonder, actually, Can we look that up? The last time the Carolina Panthers scored, 34?
And had 400 plus yards offense. I know that if we'd have scored, this would have won us any other game this year. Any other game except for this one this year, our offensive production would have won with this.
Yeah, we gave up some points this week. But look, is the Panthers are playing football that's good enough to win. One of the greatest plays in Panther history occurred in this game. PJ Walker throws a bomb. I mean, we said that PJ Walker had a cannon, a bazooka, and you saw it on display. Moving to his left, this guy just throws this giant ball. I mean, this is crazy. Like, it's a Hail Mary, but not a Hail Mary because it wasn't like, this was a pass. It was a straight up pass. On the money, DJ Moore catches this to tie the game, celebrating, rips off his helmet and jumps into the crowd, right? And, I'm sitting there going, we won. This is it. I thought we won. Sadly, it just tied the game up. And because of penalties and different things, the Carolina Panthers then forced to, they miss a extra point, go into overtime, and ultimately will lose the game because of a missed field goal and some other things right there. Is at least the boy Koo went and won the game for the Atlanta Falcons. I saw my friend today at work, and he goes, that was the most Panther game of Panther games, the most Panther finish of Panther finishes. It's a Cardiac Cats game. The Cardiac Cats are back. Excitement was in the air in the post-game show, and I am telling you, man, look, even Patrick Mahomes is drooling over PJ Walker's I don't think it's a Hail Mary. I wouldn't call that a Hail Mary. I just feel like that's a go route, and he threw it as far as he could, and DJ went and got it.
It's a Hail DJ, go DJ. That's what that is.
Why is it different than a Hail Mary? I've heard a lot of people say this today, like, Hail Marys that's 60-something yards in the air. That's a Hail Mary. That's further along.
Well, I feel like a Hail Mary is like you just throw it up to a group of players and pray that someone comes down with it.
I mean, let's be real.
This was like on the money, was running down there. Like the players weren't there waiting for it.
Okay, I get what you're saying there. Yeah.
It was almost like the longest football pass. Actually, it is the longest through the air pass in the NFL this season.
Yeah, and it's actually since the NGS era, it's the first sub 15% percentage of completion pass to bring a more than 75% win percentage after the completion. So it's like the least likely catch to give you the most
likely win. And guess what?
Means that it's like one of the most unlikely catches ever in history.
And on top of that, the irony of that is the catch was made, the pass was completed, and the game was lost. So the highest probability failed and the lowest probability won.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and shout out to Patrick Mahomes. He literally said it has to be one of the best throws of this year and not even close. And how could you even argue with that, man?
No,
look, we have seen that PJ Walker has some dog in him, man. Like we've been so hard on PJ for the interceptions and stuff in his past. But we have forgotten about all the turmoil that quarterback room has been through. Bringing in Sam Darnold, bringing in Cam Newton. Now you draft Matt Corral, then Baker Mayfield. Then it's like this man has never gotten a chance to really have the ball be in his hand for a consistent amount of time. And I feel like now that Steve Wilks has finally given him that opportunity, you're starting to see the best out of PJ Walker. Mm-hmm. Is he a perfect quarterback? No, not by any means. Who is? But what PJ has is something that we've said about him for a long time. The propensity to push the ball downfield and get the ball into the hands of our playmakers. And that's what the Carolina Panthers offense has been sorely missing for 3 years now. Now we can get the ball to DJ Moore. Now we can get the ball to Laviska Shenault and Terrace Marshall Jr. and our tight ends. And it's like now you're seeing what this offense, when it's clicking at a high clip, is capable of. We're running the football with Deontay Foreman, really proving his worth to this football team. And we can push the ball downfield. This is the most versatile Panthers offense that I can remember in honestly years now.
No,
I want to say, look, is that there's two things I'm going to caution you with PJ. Is one, I think I don't want to use recency bias, but I feel like PJ has shown us that he can do this before, right? Like he's come in to games and played better than other people on the team. I mean, he did that the Detroit year. You know what I mean? He has played well at times. But I don't want to think that like all of a sudden, like, oh, because we put him in this right situation that we caught the next, I don't know, Tom Brady or Jake Delhomme. I would caution that. And then the other thing I want to kind of caution is I think the interception narrative may be overblown. Right now, he has got how many touchdowns did he throw in this game?
One.
Because
Deontay Foreman had 3 rushing touchdowns.
What's his career? Let me see. His career stats. I know he has
Probably not
more
great.
interceptions than.
I'll look it up.
But here is the thing: he had one game where he had 3 picks last year,
Right,
and
I think
I
you're
feel
right.
like that skews his numbers because he's had a limited opportunity. Then you kind of put him in a bad situation last year and kind of said go and he was like over trying with no reps, no practice.
Mhm.
And it was a bad game. So if I think he had 8 picks. Yeah, I think he had 4.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, and after last week he had 9.
Right.
But before last week he had 8 and 4 touchdowns, 8.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 5-9 now, career. 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
He's a 1 pick a game guy, except for that 3 interception game, which I feel like made it. It makes us think he is more prone to turning the ball over than maybe he really is.
My argument. So I agree with that, but I also think what start is this? Like his 5th or 6th start in the NFL in his entire career. This is his 5th or 6th start, right? So we can't be and this is coming from one of his biggest criticizers, right? When we saw what he did in preseason, what he did last year, even when he was winning games, it wasn't super convincing, right? There were some flashes, there were some things that we thought that were really appealing, but there was nothing that was like, you know what, this guy is the guy moving forward. But the other part of this is the dude hasn't really been given an opportunity either.
Sure.
And now
sure.
you see what that opportunity. He had his first start against the Rams, right? Shitty situation. He's coming in. The coach just got fired, and they're still trying to figure out what they are, right? Then he comes in the next week, going up against Tom Brady and the Bucks, and has an incredible game. He comes down this week. And he has a rough first half. It wasn't fantastic. He was overthrowing some people. He wasn't on target as much, but he settled in, and the dude did everything he could to win that game. Like, when I'm willing to give the dude the benefit of the doubt and let him have an opportunity to be the guy. Am I ready to crown him? No. But I'll tell you what, he's shown us a hell of a lot more than the first round picks that we've had on this team in the past 3 years.
Right.
Right. And also, don't you love him more than players, like just from a capability perspective? More than a Taylor Heineke, more than a Kyle Allen.
Totally.
Like, and by the way, way more than Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Like, how many people think that catch that we're getting ready to talk about here soon, so that way we can have our post-mortem on this catch and then leave it in the past where it belongs? But what other quarterback outside of maybe a prime Cam Newton is coming anywhere close to making that throw in clutch time like PJ Walker did? I'm
like
sorry,
Justin Herbert. I mean, hell, he hasn't been a Panther. Yeah, he hasn't been a Panther. Yeah, he hasn't been a Panther. I don't even know if Mahomes got the arm strength.
Like, you're not convincing me that any other quarterback that has suited up for the Carolina Panthers is even remotely capable of that.
You don't think Cam could have done that?
No, he said
But
Cam
that's
first.
what I'm saying, like a prime Cam Newton.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe he does it, but
he couldn't have done it back in 2013.
Hey, don't tell me
2012.
does because that was a long throw, and I know Jake was a gunslinger. You don't think Jake Delhomme makes that throw?
No,
I don't know if he could throw it that far, but he does have. Jake Delhomme does have the longest Super Bowl touchdown completion, and Super Bowl history, right?
That's
so I mean, like at 85, and I mean,
but it wasn't all air.
Right. That's the thing is, no, Delhomme didn't have that type of arm strength, but Delhomme wasn't scared, man. That was the thing. Is that mug once he started to feel himself, and believe in himself, he took shots. I want to bring this up. Is there can't be a better circumstance for PJ Walker than what's happening right now?
No.
I mean, there cannot be a better scenario. In so many ways, I thought this was a scenario to start the season that he would not be on the team, right? I thought that was just going to be eventually, he was going to be edged out. Not only do you have Sam Darnold, unless you're just going to cut him and eat the money, but they tried to do this competition. Then you can bring in Baker Mayfield. You've traded for these guys. There's the pedigree. There's the experience in some ways that you wanted if you're Matt Rule and you're trying to save your job. Then you draft Matt Corral. Look, Matt Corral gets hurt. Sam Darnold gets hurt. Baker Mayfield stinks. PJ Walker comes in. Matt Rule gets fired. Well, Matt Rule gets fired. Then PJ Walker comes in and is seizing the moment. Here's the thing that's awesome about this is PJ Walker. This is why it's the best case scenario for him. Is that do I believe that he's going to secure a starting position for the Carolina Panthers or on another team? I'm going to say that I believe that's below 50% right now. I'm not ready to say it. He has more games though to really add to his case, right? Like, I mean, he's got a good 9 more games to make the argument against it harder and harder to make. But what he's already done in 2 games, and if he can finish out the season in a respectable manner, is secure himself in the Jacoby Brissett category, the respected backup quarterback who is going to have a place in this league for some time. Even like maybe like Geno Smith type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Is like he has gone from a guy who is probably not going to be playing football ever, have a hard time finding his place on a roster to now being maybe he can make the money. Who's that guy that made $64 million as a backup quarterback? He's like the highest paid backup quarterback. He's he's been on like 8 teams. It's going to come to me in just a second.
Well,
I think he's played himself at the minimum into a full-time backup.
Absolutely.
Which was a great job.
And look, how about this, right? This is almost in C3 Panther lore now. When Tony, you came to my house before the show, you were on my porch, and one of us asked, "Hey, do you think we have a chance?" And you said, "Because we have Cam Newton, I feel like I do." Well, you know what? Like CK said, I'm not anointing PJ Walker with the crown of Panther future. But what I am doing is telling you that with this football team, going forward, looking at our schedule the way it is, I think the Panthers at least have a chance to win every single game that we're going to play in going forward. I really believe that. And it's because of those clutch moments that PJ Walker demonstrated. It's because of the time and attention that he has been giving to this. And, dude, it's a perfect underdog story, man. Nobody expected this out of PJ Walker. I've been calling my shots, Matt Corral. We had a bunch of Baker Bottoms. There were people that wanted Sam Darnold to return, of all people. But PJ Walker put that to bed when no one believed in him other than Steve Wilks. And now look where we are, man. We're getting ready to face the Bengals, and they're minus Jamar Chase. And they did not look good last night on Monday Night Football.
They looked horrendous.
They did very bad. So you can't tell me that the Panthers don't have an opportunity going forward. And like man JD says, come on, my name is Willie Beeman. That is our Willie Beeman, man. Hit that drop, Tony. Come on. Come on, man. Come on. My name is PJ Walker. Stalkers. Dreaming. Well, I'm telling you, man. PJ brings the energy that we have not had, and I'm here for it, man. I'm not done believing in this Carolina Panther football team. They did not give up last Sunday, so I'm not giving up on them.
Look, I was more excited for this game this Sunday than I've been for a Panthers game in a long time. And here's the thing is I was on the verge of wanting to tank, which I hate saying it like that, but I kind of wanted to because I wanted that draft pick, because it sucks to lose when you're not competitive. Even though we lost this week, it was still a fun, competitive game to watch. Now, I think we should have won, but it would have been great. It didn't happen, so whatever. Here's my thing with PJ Walker is I want to be behind this guy so much, and I am behind him. He's my starting quarterback. He's the best quarterback on the team. I want him to be that guy. But he hasn't sold me yet on a guy who can be that guy yet, because he's had a couple good games. But if you look at his overall stats, it's not fantastic. Now, like CK said, he hasn't had a chance. So I want to give this guy an opportunity because he looks like
it was the Falcons. It was the Falcons.
I've got to take all that into consideration. Before? Exactly.
Tampa?
I need to see more of
Tampa.
it.
Yeah, the Tampa game is good. He's got 9 games. He's got a longer audition than he would ever be that he would be given generally.
Right.
So that's
and
one
most
thing.
Of the audition is not that great.
And
has
if
had some good games
he does a good job in this audition, if he interviews well, essentially, like I said, at the very minimum, he can secure a legitimate backup position in this league.
Oh,
But what he
On our
could,
team.
on our team, but maybe on another team. You know what I'm saying? Like it maybe is like we're not ready to pay him that money. Who knows?
And he's a free agent,
like you
too.
said.
He's-
He could
Right,
be the
right.
guy
So
who just
he's
travels
gonna
to a
go
team that's
and-
in between.
He can get a legit backup position in this league if he keeps playing like this. The other thing, though, is if he keeps playing like he did this past week and making some of this, even if Cody says, oh, we could go malpractice and roll in with PJ and Matt Corral, thinking Matt Corral is going to be the guy, which I say is
stand by
malpractice.
I stand
Here
by
is
it.
this, though. Imagine if you do get the first round draft pick. You could keep PJ Walker and give that draft pick still time to acclimate to the NFL to where you
trade
don't have to
back.
rush into it. Yeah, rush into it.
What do you do with Corral then, if that's the case?
You hopefully he does well in the preseason and you start
trade
thinking
him.
about trading him.
You don't think he might be
I don't
something
like
you
that.
could try to trade him pre-draft, or maybe draft day as a piece? Because
I don't think people. I think a hurt kid, third rounder,
round pick, yeah,
who
sure.
people see potentially. I don't think anybody's really giving you anything at that point.
What is it?
I think
what
you
is
need him to be like Jimmy Garoppolo was for the New England Patriots, where he played in the preseason and came and made one appearance in the NFL and was good, and then you traded him.
What would PJ have to do to be the guy?
I
The
think
rest
we
of
have
this
to
year.
I think we got to make a playoff push, like a legit, get into the playoffs and be competitive. I mean, how could
I
you
think
deny him at that point?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, if where the Panthers are at right now, if PJ Walker made a playoff push, even if we didn't sign him as a starting quarterback, somebody would sign him as a starting quarterback. That's a push.
I think
To
he
go
would
from
be
2-6 and make the playoffs on this team.
I think if he made the playoffs, I think he would be essentially he would play the role of Tyrod Taylor. What a lot of teams
Ryan
did.
Fitzpatrick.
What they did is they drafted the guy and let this guy be the guy for the first year, and then the other Josh Allen, Justin
We could
Herbert.
do that. That could be us.
Right. That could be us. That could be what we're in the middle of doing now, to be quite honest, if Corral ends up being anything.
Or just if
But-
we pick a quarterback in the draft. Who cares even if we get a quarterback in the draft? You don't. I don't know. I think it's
It
legitimate
depends on
to
where
say.
we're picking. Let's say we're picking number 3, which is where the Panthers are right now. And let's say CJ Stroud and Bryce Young 1 and 2 in some kind of order. Okay, now you're sitting at number 3. How desperate is this team to draft a quarterback? And especially if it's a CK
we're so
scenario. I just don't see it as much as y'all do, man. Especially
Quarterbacks are not gonna. There's no way they go 1 and 2.
Put yourself.
Why do you say that?
Put yourself in that position.
Detroit.
Hey, but
Who
Bryce
do you
Young,
draft?
Okay.
Bryce Young already won a Heisman. CJ Stroud is probably going to win a Heisman this year.
Mhm.
Both of these guys are high-level prospects. I mean, if they go 1 and 2, and you're sitting at number 3, what do you do?
Did Las
what Pickle
Vegas just
says?
pay Carr, or is his deal almost up? That's the question.
They
They're
re-upped
probably
him.
out on him.
They re-upped him, but there might be an out. The thing I'm saying,
I'm not saying it's impossible that it goes 1 and 2, but
I
if
don't
you're a
want
top
Carr.
5 pick, I think if you're the Carolina Panthers and you're a top 5 pick, you kind of get your shot at a really good quarterback.
well, here's my thought on that. If PJ Walker comes in here and he plays well enough to where you start to see glimmers of that franchise quarterback that we've been desperate to see, right? Because if you look at his body of work, he's done nothing but get better.
We got to stop using that word, franchise quarterback, starting quarterback.
Well, I'm saying franchise, right?
Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of starting quarterbacks on this in this team. We need the guy.
We've had bums that we had to start.
They were
So it's
starting
time to find
quarterbacks.
the franchise.
The
It's time to
franchise
find the
quarterback
guy.
is different than a starting quarterback. Franchise guy is the guy that you, like Cody was talking about, the guy you feel like you have a shot to win every game if he's in there. And oddly enough, PJ Walker gives me that same sense of confidence. Now,
Well,
here's
you
what
don't
I
think
will
that's
say.
recency bias, though?
No,
Because
here's the thing.
Last week you didn't feel like that. I don't.
But here's the thing: 2 weeks
I
in a row.
did.
Here's the part of it that
Shush.
I'm willing to concede, and this is me eating crow. I would have
Okay.
told you 3 weeks ago, no, PJ Walker's a bum, right?
Okay.
But again, I didn't give PJ Walker a really good chance. Every time he's taken the field, it's been because of an injury, not because he's had an entire week to prepare.
That's
right?
true.
So when you look at what he's done in just the past 3 weeks, every week it feels like he has gotten better, right? You can say that this week he shit the bed more than he did against Tampa, but when in all reality, what you want to look at when you see a quarterback coming in here and they're behind in the fourth quarter, he came in there and he did exactly what you needed to. He hit the important throws. Even if you take that DJ Moore drop into the equation, that was going to be a big time play. And PJ Walker made it on fourth down. You know how many big time fourth down plays, third down plays he was solely responsible for making those throws? PJ Walker looked like a dog out there. And I'm telling you, if you look at the short amount of time that he has been a starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, every time he's gotten better. Detroit, we can sit there and say, but we also can look at those red zone interceptions and say, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. Move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. It's been just a little bit better, but not great. Maybe even a step back in some cases. But for the past 3 games, it's been consistently, he has looked like he looked bad in the Rams game. And that's understandable because pretty much the entire team looked bad in the Rams game. But that Tampa game and this game, the dude came out here and he led this team to almost win that game when we had no business winning that towards the end of the game.
Yeah, and question, Tony, what are you going to do if we beat Cincinnati this Sunday? Like, we Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and we beat them, and we actually continue on this roll. Like, okay, we're still thinking of old PJ Walker, but whether we like it or not, PJ Walker is rewriting the expectations on who he is as a quarterback. So if we continue to win, it starts to become undeniable. This new reality that we live in
answer?
is not with PJ as some basic bum. He is someone that he might be your future, but he is someone that this franchise can comfortably start at quarterback. And to me, he is the perfect bridge to a Matt Corral who does have a ton of talent, who can do all the things that everybody is worried about because he has a foot injury that has everyone concerned. I would make the argument that you could use this draft to build up your team in the other areas that need help. Draft another defensive end. Draft another linebacker. Draft another safety. Continue to build this team. And if PJ has a good performance this year, I say give him a shot.
2 things about that. One is if you're in the top 5, and you're unsure about your quarterback, you got to swing for it. I'm sorry. Like we've been too much going, it's not our time. It's not our time. When you're up there and that's the need and there's questions there, you got to swing for it. The next thing about this is, look, PJ's had 2 good games. Okay. I'm happy for him. I'm excited. I hope he does great. But here's the thing is if you let 2 games where he's improved determine your future outlook and convince you that much, then we should say 2 bad games in a row for Trevor Lawrence should prove to us that he's not good.
Oh, God.
And here's the thing. No, I'm just saying this is I am very happy that he is playing well. And I hope he continues to build on it. But I'm not going to sit here and just go because we have been in an abusive relationship with a quarterback that all of a sudden one quarterback was nice to me and smiled at me and opened the door for me. Then now I'm going to be like, oh, my God, I want to get married.
Nobody is saying that, Tony. Then your argument's moot.
Oh, you're peckly.
Your microphone's freaking out on you, brother.
Is it better?
Yes, you are saying that. You guys called him a franchise quarterback.
No.
We never said that he's a franchise quarterback.
He used that word.
You might need to come in and out, CK. No, I'm not saying that he's.
I gotta side with Tony on this.
Yeah, it's still doing it.
Thank you. I mean, I'm just saying it's small sample set. It's just a small sample set. That's all
I want the guy to be
How
good, and I think he can be. I need more proof.
None of us can make a decision right now. Is that fair? You don't have enough evidence to say that he is the guy. I don't have enough evidence to say that he isn't the guy.
Exactly.
Mike,
You're good.
Perfect.
So my argument is, and why your argument is moot, is if we're picking in the top 5, we're picking a quarterback because that means PJ Walker didn't do his job. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying if PJ Walker takes us to the playoff, which means we're picking top in the 20s, not in the top 5, then that means there's a discussion to be had about whether PJ Walker could be the guy moving forward.
He played great and lost last week.
That's exactly. So what if, let's just say with this scenario then, fellas, let's just say PJ Walker wins next week against Cincinnati, and it's a close game. And then the week after that, he has a game like this week where he plays fantastic, a really good game.
You lose.
We just barely lose. Then the next week he has a game where we barely win. And it goes on like that the rest of the season. And we end up picking 16th, 17th, somewhere in that region.
Oh, no, we'd have to win.
And PJ Walker had a good season. What then? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what if our offense is really good for the rest of the season and looks better, and he's not the worst part of the team, but we don't really win?
Well, look,
then we go with a new quarterback.
Okay.
At that point in time, if we're picking top 10, go with the quarterback. But
dude, you think we're going to get more than 7? What's the number then?
If we make it to the playoffs, you've got to consider PJ Walker as a part of this team moving forward.
Okay.
And by the way, all the teams, and Greg pointed this out, all the teams that we're playing going forward, they don't have great records, y'all. Like, go and look at our schedule going forward. There is not a lot of W's in the win columns for any of the teams that we're getting ready to play. But, we can have this conversation about PJ Walker forever.
Can I address one comment in the chat real quick before we move on?
Sure.
Mr. Jeff R. I feel like he's been giving me crap about this for 2 weeks now, or for the last 3 days.
Get him, Jeff.
No. First, I want to clarify and say exactly. I say this: kickers win games for you; they don't lose them for you. I think the word "can't" kind of slightly misrepresents it, but I'm saying this is a kicker can go out there and be a hero and win the game for you and celebrate. And he can also not win it for you. Our kicker did not win the game for us, but I don't know if I would say he lost it. And to be fair, you guys want to be critical of me, is the coach. The head coach says that no man loses a game for a team.
He can't.
No, he doesn't have to say that.
He can't throw that.
It's real.
You can't.
Mike Zimmer did. Mike Zimmer fucking did. Mike Zimmer cut his kicker right after that shit.
Now. Mike Zimmer's not a head coach right now, is he?
Yeah,
he was the head coach longer than Steve Wilks was.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I'd still rather have Steve Wilks, so take that.
That's it. Is that I'm just going to say this, is that I can understand. Look, the kick would have won the game. That's my point. The kick would have won the game.
Either one of them would have won the game.
But he didn't make it because he's a bum, man. That's going to be a problem going forward.
And you know what? I do have when you guys say this, you only got one job. You only got one job. I heard this guy, the offensive lineman for the ECU Pirates, talking about this because our kicker for the Pirates has sucked. And they're like, all they do is kick in practice. Well, if it's so fucking easy, why don't more people do it?
True.
Here's my question, Tony. Do you think that DJ Moore lost this game?
No. I don't think anyone.
Nobody lost the game, right?
I would say no. I think we lost as a team.
Sure.
Is that I think there's a lot of things that we could have done better that would have won the game. So yeah, is like, did all of it contribute? Did the kicker contribute to the loss? Did DJ contribute to the loss? Did us giving up a third down contribute to his loss? Yes, all of those things did. And it just sucks. It sucks when it's the end. I know. We've talked about this, but let's move on. Right now is, though, as we bring up DJ Moore, the focal point of discussion has been whether or not this should have been a penalty. DJ Moore, in the most miraculous catch, arguably, in Panther history. The only catch that can be considered better than this throw and catch is only because of the game that it occurred in. The Steve Smith catch in the NFC against the Rams. It's not the actual play that was better. It is just that the moment was bigger. This, though, is arguably I don't know, man. Is this the best single play in Panther history? I mean, we need to do a poll. I think Deshaun Foster run in NFC Championship.
No, I mean, listen, I say it's up there. It's not
best
my
single
personal
play.
Favorite.
Well,
It's not my personal favorite. I think that we've had a few that meant more. But the reason why we're bringing this up is because Tony Dungy, former Super Bowl winning head coach, he works for NBC. He came out and said our NBC rules analyst, Terry McCauley, says according to the written rule, this should not have been called a penalty because Moore was not on the field when he took his helmet off.
Yeah.
So, it was so many times throughout this season, boys, we have had this discussion. Oh, the referees really screwed us on this one. Oh, no, this time, the referees, they were the reason that we lost. Dude, if any one of those games could actually be blamed on the referees, to me, it absolutely has to be this one, man. And it furthers the point that these referees enforce the rules at their own discretion. Like, they're not getting all these calls correct. They're calling all the right pass interferences, the right roughing the passers, the intentional grounding. It's like it's like a crapshoot whenever you have these different referees calling games, and there's no consistency in them because none of the NFL referees are full-time employees. So
Right.
these are the kind of results that you're gonna get, man. And it sucks so bad that DJ, who has been so underserviced, not only this season, but some would even say his entire career as a Panther, probably undeniably makes the biggest play of his entire career, and he's fucking ecstatic about it, getting up in the face of Falcons fans. This man is amped, and they throw a penalty that should not have been thrown. Dude, it's unacceptable.
Was it 15 yards? Is that
Yeah.
what it was?
A 15-yard penalty,
Greg has
which ended up being
some,
a 48-yard extra point.
Greg has some information.
Yeah, so this is debatable, right? Is that a lot of people have been debating this, is whether or not. So you get this Terry McCauley, but first of all, we get Dean Blandino telling us all kinds of bullshit about rules all the time. The other thing is that he took his helmet off outside of as he's walking out, right? So it's like on the border, number one. Number two, he walks back into the end zone. So I don't know that. Now, Greg, there's one more layer to it, correct?
Yes, because the penalty wasn't called because, if he walked off the field, I get that. That it does say in the rule book, like there's two or three stipulations to it, and it labels them out 1, 2, 3, and they don't have to all three happen. It's just if one of these happens, and what people are focusing on is the walking off the field and the play being dead. Because yes, if they walk off the field and the play's dead, no, it's not a penalty. But it does also say in the rules you can't do it during a celebration.
What about
That-
when
And
people
don't
run
forget,
onto the
Cam
field?
had this is
right
what
there
happened.
the one thing that makes it a penalty, and I hate to agree with it because I think it's a stupid penalty.
Oh,
But that is the
totally.
one
Totally.
thing that
I
by
mean,
the
I think
rules
we're an
makes it a
over
penalty.
penalized. I think the NFL's an over penalized league at this point. And I also think I also remember this is what Cam got in trouble for.
Yeah.
In that Cardinals game. You remember in the Cardinals game, he goes, "I'm back," and he got a penalty in that.
Yep.
So did
Can't do it while
Stephon
celebrating.
Diggs during the Minnesota Miracle. Remember when the playoffs when Minnesota beat New Orleans? He catches the pass down the sideline, took off the
There's a
helmet and
clip
threw
of
it.
Terry McLaurin running around in his
No,
last
Black.
games.
And their argument is that that's after a timeout. That doesn't matter. The clock was still running for them.
Right.
The clock wasn't running for us. That means it was the end of the play. So after a
Yeah.
timeout or not, that's irrelevant. Whether you take
And
your
it
helmet,
was-
that was
and
a
it was-
celebration.
Right, it was a part of a celebration, was it not?
That's the only
So
thing that
they're
makes
not
it a bad
even
rule.
they're not even enforcing the rules fairly amongst all football teams. I'm not gonna
That I'll
sit up
agree
here.
with.
I'm not going to
Well,
sit
because
up
it's
here
subjective.
and say
I mean,
that
this is
have it
why they
out
want.
for us. I don't think they have it out for us, but there is definitely no consistency in how NFL referees officiate this game.
This is
They're-
the only way they can control a narrative. On
Well,
sports.
yeah.
This
I mean,
the
it is
only
subject.
way.
Look, there's always going to be a layer of the human element in life, and this is why some people want baseball to move to the robot strike zone.
And some people really don't want it.
Right, is because sometimes human error makes the game kind of fun in a way. Right, is like particularly in baseball, like an umpire caught like he this, you start to learn that the outside strike is accepted, or, you know what I'm saying? They got to, and so some people, it's just been part of the game so long that they're okay with it. I think my opinion on this is that if this human error is part of the equation, which it is, I think that we should use flags and reviews to keep the game as honest as possible, not to impede the fun and the excitement and the process of the game. So, like, this is what I'm saying is it's one thing to use review to overturn plays that were clearly whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you saw it, that's a catch. Somehow they missed it. Human error made this, and the game would have been better if they got the call right. I don't want us to use, all right, when you slow down replay to the millisecond, the ball's always moving. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they've had to adjust this. Like, I don't want it to be like, oh, there's one blade of grass touching his foot. He's out of bounds. Like, I think that's too much. I think it's like, hey, the eye is like, if we go micro, like we're going down to, it's like I heard LeVar Arrington talk about this, is he don't like when people say my kid's 18 months. He's like, your kid's 1. He's like, oh, are they 1? Hey, no, they're 1. He said, what if they're 23 months? He says, they're 1. And he goes, and then, and his argument was this, is that if we're going to do 18 months, what stops us from doing weeks? What stops us from doing days? What stops from doing minutes? What stops us from doing seconds? And I think these types of calls where it's not a taunting, it's not bad sport. I don't know. It's like, to me, this ruins the fun of the game. And I don't know if you've ever seen Boondock Saints, but when the gangster is getting a sandwich and he's like, he's smashing the face, he goes, they take all the fun out of the job. You know, it's like they call it a no fun league for a reason. You know, it's like this ruins moments.
The argument with this one, though, is some might say that this made it more fun because you go into overtime, we get the interception, we missed that field goal. Marcus Mariota has an opportunity to rush it down to the 25. Young Wei Koo comes in there, kicks that 45-yard field goal, and it felt like redemption for them after having just almost lost the game. Like, some might look at that game and say, that was entertainment, right? And so that's where, the narratives thing that Greg talks about kind of comes into play. The reality is, it is a stupid rule. If it states that celebrations can't be a part of it, then it's sure, okay, that's fine. But if it states, if those are separate things, as long as, like, if it's a part of the same concept, I could see where it could be interpreted in a different way as well. So, and that's what I don't like. And I disagree with you on one part of like, if a blade of grass hits his, like, if he steps out and one blade of grass is what touches his foot, he shouldn't be considered out of bounds because of it's, that's just taking it. The problem is,
are all blades of grass uniform of length?
The reason that I bring it up is because you have to keep in mind, this is like people's livelihoods, right? The difference between that person, that blade of grass touching his foot or not touching his foot could be the difference between somebody going to the Super Bowl or not going to the Super Bowl, right? So when you're talking about that,
he's like, not wrong.
It has to be black and white. It cannot be a subjective thing. But that's where we also agree that's why these calls should be
not math,
reviewable.
Dude. This is not math.
It sort of is.
I agree with Tony on one aspect of it about this need to be changed, but I do agree with CK and Cody about that. I think that how specific you can be with it is the reason you have that. However, you should be able to, if a referee doesn't know a rule or does something that's against the rule, first of all, you should be able to challenge anything you want to. And you only have 2 challenges. It's not like it's going to hold up the game.
I agree that.
You should be able to challenge anything you want to.
I think the NFL should have a challenge too from New York.
There should be a guy in the booth that whenever the referee makes the wrong call because he doesn't know the rules,
AFL did this.
Beeps down and says, "Hey, by the way, that's wrong. Go ahead.
Let's catch it at the commercial break. We're going to commercials.
That's what needs to be
going
changed.
To commercial.
It could take
Other
10
than
seconds.
that, the replay is okay. You should be able to challenge everything.
Why is it so hard?
Yeah, can I bring up one thing though to decimate since he said I was wrong? CK,
kind of wrong. You're half.
then obviously, if it's black and white and it's math, then Jericho Cotchery didn't catch it.
Oh my God.
I think
How do
they've
you
And
know
he
those
caught
two
that shit.
things?
I think this is sometimes you just, the eyeball test, that's a catch, bro. And then they're like, oh, he's rolling to the ground. Did the ball move? Did it? But no, that's a fucking catch. I just saw him catch it. Let's not slow it down to the infamous test. It'd be like this is like, woo, you know what I mean? Like,
luckily, I think they've defined a catch enough for us to be able to eliminate.
they've
a lot
gotten
of the
better at it.
subjectivity.
They did
Right.
improve it after that.
So I think that part is, again, now it's back to being somewhat black and white. There's only so much you can do with stuff like that. But if a blade of grass touches a foot and that blade of grass is technically gray because it's out of bounds, then he has to be out of bounds. Because what that then leads to is if that ref calls him as inbounds because and they review it and that blade of grass touches his foot, but they hold up the review because they can see that it touched his foot, but it wasn't it was like, it was subjective. It's so close enough to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Well, if it was called the other way, if it was called that he was out of bounds, well, now there's
it's a single blade of grass, we shouldn't be looking at it that.
But you understand my
closely.
point,
Sorry.
right? You're talking about like being that specific. I think you have to be, when you can be that specific, I think it has to be that specific.
I don't like this. I think that the burden of proof is that makes it no fun. All right. Did the refs screw us?
Yes.
Yes.
Tell us why, Greg, because you don't think it's just this play.
I don't think it's just a play. I mean, we were talking about the halves. I think when we were watching the game in the cave, we were asking about like what the penalty percentage was for the first half. I think we only had one penalty for like 5 yards in the first half. And then we ended up with 9 for 75 in the game. And I think like 6 of them almost in a row were on one drive. That was a key drive at the end of the game. The one where DJ
How
got
many?
fast. We had 9 for 74 was the final.
Do you
I
know
think we only had
Denver in
1
that
for 5.
London game had 10 penalties in the first half?
Holy shit.
10 defensive penalties or some shit like that. It was like crazy.
But they were calling all kinds of crazy stuff. Like literally it was, guy looked at me wrong, throw a flag. I think we had like 4 or 5 in a row in one drive, which we overcame. But
Okay.
it's just insane.
I don't know. I don't think that. I mean, yeah, I guess it sucks. This one, I just didn't like. I mean, these penalties, anytime they impede the game to me, which I felt like it did, it just made it a different game. I mean, it just took all the fun out of the job. What's next, Cody? Oh, are we doing it for the do? We're doing it for the do.
Yes, sir, man. Why don't you go ahead and tell them?
This is interesting. I like this. Is right now, Geno Smith is the best quarterback in the NFL. He has like the craziest completion percentage. He's winning games. No one thought that that they would be competitive this year. And Geno Smith with a career renaissance. And he was asked today if he felt like he was getting back at the Giants, right? And did he feel like he's been screwed over by teams or something? And he said, "I'm happy to be here in Seattle. I spent 1 year with the Giants. That year was like a blur. My life has moved on from them. I don't have any remorse towards anyone there," because they were asking him if this was a revenge game. In fact, to me, this was a game for former Giants coach Ben McAdoo and former GM Jerry Reese. They believed in me. As far as any other thing, I don't really care for it. I'm happy to be here in Seattle. It's like a family here. Feels like home. I'm just enjoying my time here and continuing to work hard with these guys and just trying to be the best we can. Geno Smith is doing it for the doing it for the Ben McAdoo. Ben McAdoo, speaking of, we brought this up because he's our offensive coordinator. The second thing is Ben McAdoo terrible? Is he okay or is he good? And I don't know. I just don't fucking know. There were a lot of, if you go back in those games where in those first 4 games that we were terrible in and our offense stunk, a lot of people say when you look at the plays that there were calls that worked. the players just dropped it, or it was like poor execution. So it's like, hey, he was calling plays that were effective, and the players just weren't getting them done. On top of that, he has managed. I mean, all of a sudden, we're having a fucking renaissance on the offense right now.
Yep.
Or a birth. I don't know if Ben McAdoo is poo, Mountain Dew, or what. And I don't want.
Tony, can I just tell you how vindicated I feel? How vindicated I feel? And dude, I'm telling you, man, my takes when I'm early on something, y'all better listen, man, because I'm when I say, and specifically on the offensive coordinator, that all of our offensive coordinators are going to look like absolute trash unless you have a quarterback that's hitting your open receivers and you have an offensive line that pass protects and run blocks effectively. How coincidental. Now we have both of those things, and all of a sudden Ben McAdoo looks pretty damn good. He all of a sudden looks the part. And by the way, I mean, I like his eye for quarterbacks. Not only did he like Josh Allen above everyone else in 2018, he also had Matt Corral.
Oh, he loves PJ Walker,
else.
bro.
He loves
Geno
PJ,
Smith.
loves Matt Corral. And what do they all have in common? They're good quarterbacks. So you know what, man? I like Ben McAdoo. I think that he's done good things for our offense. I like the direction that we're moving in. And by the way, one thing that we have to look at is even if the Panthers, let's just say we win the division, right, for the sake of conversation. And let's just say we get into the playoffs and we look, not embarrassing. Well, Ben McAdoo isn't going to be some hot hire. Like, there's not going to be coaches that are going to look to poach Ben McAdoo. So on the flip side is we should be hoping that Ben McAdoo actually is a good offensive coordinator and continues to grow with us. That way we have him next year, and we would have PJ Walker and Matt Corral, who have already been used to his system for more than 1 year. I'm higher on Ben McAdoo than I ever have been before.
What a bizarre world it would be if the Panthers hired Steve Wilks, retained Ben McAdoo, and started PJ Walker next year. I mean, who in the heck could have ever forecasted that happening? For me, I would say this is I'm just thankful because I really felt embarrassed because I was like, oh, I think Ben McAdoo is a good hire for Matt Rule, and it was so bad. Our offense was so bad in those first 4 games. I was embarrassed to even have said that. So I'm hoping Ben McAdoo revitalizes the image just to save me a little face. And on top of that, worst take ever, guys. Worst take ever for Panther fans, in my opinion, right now is people saying, we need to get Ken Dorsey and retain Steve Wilks as defensive coordinator. That would be the most jacked up thing you could ever do to a human being.
Oh, give me a break.
Why? There's nothing Steve Wilks is doing right now that says that he shouldn't be the head coach.
Right. And how much sand in the face would it be?
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just the
right. I
people
hear. If you gave it to Ken Dorsey over Steve Wilks after what
and then wanted him to come be your D coordinator, like,
and like it also adds like the lawsuit that he's a part of. That's quite literally the type of scenario.
I know
that is why he's a part of that lawsuit. So, but I mean, I think as an offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey has done very well when you look at what they do up there in Buffalo. And I think that, again, if you have the good O-line and you have the good quarterback, then I think Ken Dorsey would be a great head coach. And he already has ties to Carolina. I would love that if we don't end up going with Steve Wilks. But as of right now, like I said, I'm rocking with my team, and I'm rocking with what's in the now. And right now, that's PJ Walker as my MFN quarterback, and that's Steve Wilks as my MFN coach.
How many? And what week do you think you could say that you believe Wilks has earned the job?
I'd say no. I'm sold on
already.
Listen, I'm sold on Steve Wilks having the job of head coach. I'm not necessarily sold on PJ Walker moving forward. like I'm behind him and I want him to play well and I believe he can, I'm sold on Steve Wilks. Like what I've seen with this team in the last few weeks, the turnaround, the desire, the passion they have, the way they're playing, 100%. The team is behind him.
I do. Go ahead.
I have to push back on this. You can't do that and
Right,
then
you
not
just
be
call PJ a franchise.
not be in on PJ Walker.
Didn't.
Because Steve Wilks is doing a whole lot more to this team than PJ Walker is.
All right, let's take
PJ
that
Walker
into
he's a quarterback. Steve Wilks is taking care of the whole team.
Let's look in this. Let's be fair about a couple of things. Okay. Do you feel like PJ Walker has gotten a fair shot?
No. And
Okay.
that's why I want him to have a fair shot.
Hold on.
And I
Do
believe
you feel like Steve Wilks had a fair shot in Arizona?
No.
Okay. So do you feel like PJ Walker's getting his fair shot now?
I feel like he's having the opportunity, yes.
Okay.
And I
Do
think
you
he
feel
can
like
do well
Steve
with it.
Wilks is getting his fair shot?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't say they're in an identical situation. You can't be in on one and not in on the other because PJ Walker is showing it out right now.
No, because look, Steve Wilks is doing so much more than PJ Walker. PJ Walker's showing out for 2 games.
How do you know?
And
How do
I'm
you
not
know
saying
he's doing
he
so
can't.
much more?
Because he's a head coach. He's dealing with more than just what the quarterback's dealing with.
He was also the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
I guarantee you a head coach of any team is dealing with more than a quarterback is.
But
I
Greg,
guarantee
don't
it.
you think that those two things are correlated? The fact that PJ Walker has never had the chance, and the fact that Steve Wilks, as the leader who knows that the quarterback is the most important position on the team, had the wherewithal to say, you know what, I'm going to give this young man the chance that he'd never gotten previously. And all he's done is blow away our expectations ever since he made that move.
I think y'all are mistaking me. I think y'all are mistaking me for saying that I'm not completely sold on PJ, for me saying that I don't think he can do it. I do think he can. I think he has the ability to. Whether he will or not is to be seen. I just need to see more from PJ of what he's doing overall well to continue to do that. Steve Wilks, I've seen even in the game they did bad, the first game that he coached, they did really bad. I saw a lot of difference in the team.
I'm less critical of your statement about PJ Walker not being the guy than I am about you saying that Steve Wilks is the guy already.
Okay, I get
That's
that.
my argument. Right? You
I'm
can't
kind
just
of leaning with Greg on this.
Can we all agree that we all need more time with both PJ and Steve?
Amen.
Like
I'm not
even
sold.
if you like, right? Even if you like them, and I like both of them. Like they have to continue to win the game. I believe are very much winnable going forward. That's something that we all can
Here's
agree
one
on.
thing
And
that
wait, I was gonna say, you know what else we can agree on? It's really cool whenever we get new members. CK, why don't you welcome this badass super fan?
Well, Mr. Baker, Zach Baker, to be exact, you've hit that join button. We want to thank you for joining the C3 Superfan Club that all of you in chat that have not yet hit that join button are more than capable of doing for $1.99 a month. I know that sounds like a lot. It's $1.99 a month. If you'd like to support the podcast, hit that join button. But Zach Baker, welcome to the club.
Hey, go ahead, Tony.
in fact, at 10:30, I'm going to pull up the list of members, and we're going to be giving away 2. These are 4 in here, but I'm going to do this twice, once tonight, once later on in the week, or maybe in our post-game show. These are 2 car flags, or I'm going to give away 2 car flags, Panther car flags, to one of the C3 Superfan members tonight. We're trying to get to 100 members. It's one of these things. It's a recurring cost. I know that's a lot on people, particularly in like recession times. So we've tried to make it a small monetary thing, and we appreciate the people with the green tag who are supporting the show. We appreciate everybody who supports the show. Just being in the chat, calling in at 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button. But the memberships, you got that initial pop, then they slow down. We're trickle in, but we've lost some too. So look, we want to continue to give back to the supporters of the C3 Panthers podcast. So this is what we're going to do and look, I'll give away stuff for best calls. By the way, I owe people like 2 shirts. I still got to mail these out from like a week and a half ago. Also, but I'm going to be giving away this at 10:30. So if you've been considering becoming a C3 super fan, you got a opportunity to win 2 car flags Panther car flags. I wanted to say this about Steve Wilks. Now, the thing that's problematic for me in the Steve Wilks and the starting coach job, the head coach job, one is that I told you guys when he addressed us after when he took over the team, he felt like a dude. He felt like the guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a guy that commands respect, that a guy you can trust, that a guy you can believe in. We know that he's had experience and success in this league. And you know that there's kind of a heart, as it tugs at the heartstrings of Panther fans, the story too. You know, he's coming in here under tough circumstances, came back, joined the team. Charlotte guy. The only thing that's problematic for me is that I've been wanting an offensive head coach. Right. In the wake of in a litany of defensive coaches, and then a coach who was neither an offensive coach or a defensive coach in Matt Rule. And I was trying to look back at who's won Super Bowls over the past. You know, the only defensive coaches that have won Super Bowls in the past, 10 years are like Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll. Other than that,
a lot of them, though.
I know that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But, then it kind of wonders is that I was starting to try to develop this theory is defensive coaches can only really win Super Bowls if they got a great quarterback. Tony Dungy. I know everybody's going to use the Baltimore example. But but I think Baltimore had an offensive coach, though, at that time, strangely. The one thing that's now why I'm kind of leaning towards what Greg's saying is has he already proved? It's not going to take much more, folks.
No.
It really isn't going to take much more for him to be the leading candidate, because my thing is who is the guy that you're going to hire above him? And they're not going to have any experience. You don't want to dip back into the college ranks. You're going to go and take a risk on a coordinator or some young name like a Dorsey or what Denver is doing with whatever that bum is that they got. Really, to be honest, at the end of the day, not only is he interviewing well at this moment, he's arguably the best qualified for the fucking job. And I shouldn't have said the F word. Job.
He seems like he is, for sure. The part of it that I think, again, we've talked about multiple times, and I'll continue to bring up, it's going to be a lot easier for him to hire Steve Wilks than it is to hire somebody else. And not
imagine who you would hire over him. Who would it be? It would have to be like Jim Harbaugh.
Justify it at this point in time. Tell me, what has Steve Wilks done not to earn this job?
I don't know.
As of right now, if you had to stop the season now, he's had 3 weeks of being able to try to turn this team around.
From a team that was in the bottom dregs. So we didn't even want to watch it. And now we're sitting here.
Christian McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson, and they came out and they whooped the Bucs, dude. Like a team that we were supposed to lose to by 10 points or more. Right? He came out here and our offense put up more points this week than we have all season. Right? These guys were fighting and they seem to really want to fight for Wilks. Wilks seems to be a great coach. And even if he isn't, if you wanted to compare him and Dorsey, right? And Dorsey is just here and Steve Wilks is here.
I don't like Dorsey. Sorry, I'm not.
Well, I'm just, again, let's talk about just any coach. Any coach, let's say that Steve Wilks, in your mind, if you're David Tepper, Steve Wilks is here, another coach is here. Guess what? It's going to be a lot easier to hire Steve Wilks at this point in time, even though he may be considered a little bit less than what you might see out there on the other from the offensive coordinator from the Bills or any other offensive coordinator, because Steve Wilks, number one, he brings a lot more passion to this team, to this. He's got the homegrown crowd, right? He's got that, but he also has a lot less complication if you hire him, right? If you don't hire him, there's so much more complication that comes with that.
It's so weird.
I don't want this to be about that, because I think Steve Wilks has earned this job more than anything. But if he earned it and you don't hire him,
well, isn't that the whole point of the freaking lawsuit?
Right.
Yeah,
is
that's
that I mean, that's not only is it you don't want it to be about it, but if that does turn out the case, then it is about that.
If you get rid of Steve Wilks and then hire someone who doesn't have head coaching experience then again, that's literally the exact thing. That's the exact reason why there's even a lawsuit to begin with.
I don't think he's a retread. I don't think he's I don't consider him a retread, Steve Wilks. And the other thing is like the other people, whoever the next hot name you bring to me, and no one's given me a name that I am going crazy about.
I'll give you a name. You won't go crazy about it, but I could see David Tepper doing it. And I'm not saying I'm crazy about it either. And I put it on Twitter, and I got roasted because people thought I was calling.
Oh, wait, this was a good. Who was it?
Brian.
Who?
Bill
O'Brien.
And I already hear people cringing in the chat. But what I'm saying is this. Let's say the Panthers, we have a top 5 pick, like you were saying earlier.
This
right?
is a good theory, though. It's a good theory. It's a working theory.
Absolutely. Because, look, not only does he have playoff pedigree with the Houston Texans that were never like a legacy team.
He's an offensive guy.
He's an offensive guy. And let's just say, hypothetically, we draft Bryce Young to be the next quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. Well, those two already have a connection with one another. And Bill O'Brien is on record as having said that if he was going to start an NFL franchise with any player, you would definitely have to make it Bryce Young because that's what he does for a football team. Now, if you look back at Bill O'Brien as a head coach, it started to go downhill as he accrued more power within the organization.
Became the GM,
right?
Too.
He became the general
He tried to
manager.
be like Belichick.
Yeah, he's doing too much. But also, David Tepper, after going through Matt Rule, is not going to make that mistake twice. I mean, he literally has to be the dumbest man in the world.
I don't like that hire at all. But I think it is like a legitimate theory to say, with the quarterback pairing, the experience in the NFL before, you could see him like a Harbaugh coming back.
Or let's also keep in mind, a lot of people don't want to admit it. Mike McCarthy's got the Dallas Cowboys rolling right now.
Is that McCarthy, you think, though?
Or is it that offensive?
Or is it Kellen
I just
Moore?
think this. If you hire an unknown over Steve Wilks, a complete unknown, then that's verified. I'm not ready. I just feel like it's hard for me to say right now if Steve Wilks keeps this team playing like this and makes the most out of this opportunity. And I don't even feel like he's got to make the playoffs. But if we just look competitive like this and like fighting and all of this, is that I feel like he is more qualified for the position than Ken Dorsey is, or the guy from Dallas is the offensive coordinator. I'll listen to his name because he's put together a great offense and some different things like that. But I do think I think Bill O'Brien to a team that's looking for a coach and a quarterback is a legitimate conversation to be had.
Yeah.
I like that. The other thing I did want to bring up was that's it. Let's go on to the next topic. Let's move through some stuff. We're getting bogged down. Hair.
So
I know we got a new member. We're going to get one more, though, before we announce this one. I promise you. One more is coming. I can feel it.
So you want to go to
yeah. I just want to get through because we got cat calls to do. My kid tonight at dinner said this. He said, "How do you have 3 hours a night every week to talk about this, even when football's not on?" I was like, "Bro, have you met me?" Look, today was the trade. Today was the trade deadline for the NFL, and there was some movement around the NFL, and the Panthers really have been in conversations as sellers over the past couple of weeks, particularly after the firing of Matt Rule. And look, they sold their best player in Christian McCaffrey, who just needed a damn coach that knew what to do with him. Really, I'm telling you, this is Kyle Shanahan, freaking genius, and Christian McCaffrey is the queen on his chessboard that he is going to destroy. He got extra queen. He got a pawn all the way to the other side. Now he got extra queen in that Christian McCaffrey. But the Carolina Panthers have been in the conversation of selling players, and some of the players that have come up are Dante Jackson, Shaq Thompson, Brian Burns. Well, news has been confirmed. Rumors were just last week that a team offered two first round picks for Brian Burns. A lot of
The
people
Rams.
speculated that it was the Eagles last week, as they then went out and pursued. Who'd they get? They got somebody from
Robert from Chicago.
Robert Quinn, which I got questions about the Chicago selling and buying at the same time. On top of that, now it has been confirmed that the Rams did offer two first-round picks. The Carolina Panthers denied this. Now, to go ahead and give you guys some information about this, is that the Rams do not have a first-round pick next year. So at the earliest this could have been was a 2024 and a 2025 first-round pick, and the Panthers turned down that kind of those future firsts. I want to know, my first question to you is, was it the Rams the whole time, or are they a new dance partner? And did the Panthers make the right decision here? Go ahead, Cody.
So I think, one, the Panthers did make the right decision. And it's like I said, I am going to choose to believe in Steve Wilks and PJ Walker going forward. And if you think that we're not Brian Burns in an attempt to claim this division, you are out of your mind, right? Number two, what I think this past few weeks has shown us is that the NFL really values a lot of our players highly. The Rams were heavily involved for Christian McCaffrey. Now they were foaming at the mouth for Brian Burns. They wanted to add another pass rusher to that football team. And by the way, it fits right with their MO, because in the middle of the year last year, they traded for Von Miller, and that ended up being a fantastic pickup for them. You know, they like going out to look for really good players that are on bad teams and trying to get them over to them. And listen, you made that the Los Angeles Rams do not have a first-round pick in 2023. So why would I want to give up Brian's that isn't even going to benefit me this next draft, where we look to be potentially rebuilding if that's the way our season goes?
Right.
I'm sorry, it just makes no sense to me. I love the fact that we not only did we keep our roster strong, but it's also a vote of confidence in them and the team. Because what happens if you are like Chicago, who trades away Robert Quinn, who trades away Roquan Smith? Like, if you're a player on the Bears, you're like, all right, dude, talk about this team without telling me, right? Like,
but then strangely bought a receiver. But it strangely acquired a receiver in the same What? Oh, they're trying to see if Fields is worth to keep.
Yeah, they're trying
on.
to see what they have in Justin Fields, or if they're going to move on to a different quarterback through the draft this year. And I mean, Chicago is known for having a tough defense, but you have to move into the modern NFL, and it's a passing league, and that's why all these new head coaches are offensive. But the point that I want to make with Brian Burns is that this is a series of our defense. He is our primary pass rusher. I know we all call him Mr. Almost for the almost, sacks that he doesn't have. But listen, man, he has all the talent to be the kind of player that changes your defense. If you continue to build around guys like him, guys like J.C. Horn, guys like Jeremy Chin, the Panthers' defense has been as savage as it is because of guys like him. And I'm happy that they didn't trade him away.
Was there another team, or was it the Rams all along?
I feel like it was probably the Rams the whole time. I mean, there are probably other people involved, but I don't think anybody else offered 2-1s. And I'd be hard pressed to say that Scott wouldn't have accepted it if the Eagles or anybody had offered a first this year and a first next year, right? I think that would have been a lot more difficult to say no to. But a first and 20, I agree with Cody.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's just too far. Nobody's going to have their job, man. He don't know if he's going to have his job down at that point.
Yeah, I
you know
mean,
what I'm
you don't know.
That's playing way too down the road. You don't know who the coach is. Now, if you're trying to load up a coach next year, a brand new coach with all the tool, like with his guys that he can bring in, then you get it. But skipping a year, I ain't want none of that. CK, was it the right move?
Yeah, I think it was the right move, especially when you let me ask you, I've been wanting to talk about this, and it kind of segues into this because we want to talk about all the other trades that took place. Is it just me, or do you feel like the Bears got fleeced for only trading Roquan for a second?
You thought he should have commanded it first?
Dude, he's leading the league in the in tackles, and he's got incredible stats. Like the dude, like I personally find that's a little, especially a second from the Ravens. Like that's going to be a. And then what they did is they didn't even trade the Ravens second for the Chase Claypool. Like they didn't even turn around and trade. They traded their second round pick, which means it's probably going to be a higher value pick. So basically they valued Chase Claypool more than they valued Roquan.
I heard a cool take. Read a cool take on Twitter about this. Now I don't know if it's right or not. I am not a X and O guy enough to tell you how the league is evolving, but I think they said that they referred to him as off the ball outside linebacker or something.
Right.
But I don't know. They used that terminology, some terminology like that, and they were saying that position is not as valuable in the NFL anymore, and that despite him having his best season right now, they still suck against the run. And so the referendum was more against the position than it was against the player in that case. And that it took a lot of guts for them to trade away that guy who is going to maybe be asking for a big contract. And then you're saying, well, we can't, and then you're letting them walk.
Well, you got to.
It was the best explanation I heard, but I think you bring up a great point, TK.
He did ask to be traded at the beginning of the year, right? So he didn't want to be there anyway. So I mean, this was a honest. It made sense, right? Because they're not going to get anything for him come this offseason because it doesn't sound like he wants to be a Bear, right? So I mean, I think I get the value that like it's a second. Sure, there's nothing wrong with getting that. It just feels odd that you traded a second for Chase Claypool, who was a second in the NFL draft 2 years ago for the Steelers, and that's probably going to be a better value. I just feel like
dude, I heard Jerry Jeudy was going for a second and a fourth, and I was like, man, that's not that bad. Or second and a fifth for a guy who's like only 1 year in the league.
Yeah,
but also keep in mind, you're gonna have to pay him. So you're gonna have to pay him Roquan Smith. Like agreed with that. So he didn't want to be there. He's up for a new contract.
And he's going to a place that's historically known for linebackers.
And by the way, he also represents himself. So a lot of GMs kind of don't like those scenarios. Maybe they feel like, well, the Ravens already have that headache with Lamar. Maybe they wouldn't mind another one. They wouldn't mind another one.
Do you feel
what Tony said, the position value?
Do you feel shafted that we didn't make a push for him as hurt for linebacker as we are right now?
No, I don't think we need to be looking for anybody that we're gonna have to pay. And I'm gonna get to my Brian Burns take because there's uncertainty with who the coach is and what the direction of the team is. I think the new regime needs to get in before you start making commitments that you're gonna saddle that team with, or that regime with. I think that if they want those commitments, then they go out and they pick the free agents that they're going to pay. But it stinks to give up assets for a guy that you don't know if the next guy is going to value it as much as you do at that moment, or if even Scott Fitterer is going to be around. Greg, was it the right move by the Panthers to not trade Brian Burns for these two future firsts?
Yes, 100% the right move. I think, I'm the guy. I think I started the whole King of Almost with Brian Burns comments, and he's playing really well this year. I think that we're going to see a different Brian Burns under a different head coach, to be truly honest with you. And he's the kind of guy you can build a defense around if he's playing at the top. And shoot, he's still young. Like, we got plenty of time with this guy. He could be the next Julius Peppers type player for me on this team. If he's playing for the right guy. And I think behind Steve Wilks, he might be that guy. So I want to give him a chance. And especially with the 2 firsts they were going to get, it just wasn't worth it.
My opinion is it's the absolute right thing to do to not trade him. Now, I am intrigued by the thought of acquiring first-round picks. Once you start talking down the road that far, again, we don't know what the lay of the land is. If you're talking about, though, trading him to the Dolphins, and you're going to get a top pick next year because they acquired it from whoever, and I don't know if that was it. But, like, if you were going to get a top first-round pick next year, and like that's going to be that somebody else got in a trade for somebody else, right? And so they have like a pick. They're a good first of all, a team is not trading for a guy if they're a bad team, right? And you need a high pick in the draft. You don't want a 28th pick for a guy who is coming into his prime, right? But if you are bringing in new GM, new coach, or new regime, and you could offer them the ability to build their vision, I think there would be something that would be intriguing about considering that. But the one reason I think this, now I also think this too, the other reason I think that if you were going to trade Brian Burns, you would already know in your financial plan you couldn't afford him to keep him, right? So if that was the case, and Joe Person tweeted this out today, is go ahead and expect an extension this offseason. I thought the Panthers were already going to get this extension done by now. I thought that he was a priority, particularly when they were making him a face of the franchise over the past year. Like they're putting him on the commercials. They've been featuring him a lot. He's always talking, like in the media and stuff. I thought it would have already happened now. I think that the fact that they did not trade him tells us they are interested in reaching a future agreement with Burns, and they get the sense that he might be interested too. The final point that I want to make here is if Matt Rule did anything well or good for us, is he got our defense young and strong in a way. Like there's some players. I mean, like Brian Burns wasn't part of his regime or Brian Burns wasn't a Matt Rule pick, but he invested. Matt Rule did an unprecedented 8 defensive picks in the draft. If anything, our team, when you say rebuild, the rebuild is really this: quarterback, linebacker, and a receiver. Or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's not a rebuild where I think we have young pieces with contracts, with time on their contracts that we can work on. So, I mean, that we can work around, we can build on. We're not building from scratch. We don't have a bunch of vets with a bunch of crappy contracts who are past their prime and this and that. The guys we have who are contractually bound for us are pretty freaking young.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some, and so I think that we are in a rebuild, but that rebuild doesn't have to seem as a blow up, right? It's like it's a refocus with a new. So I think this is that, is that now you're saying this is we can build on the defense around Brian Burns, Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, and Jeremy Chin. We've got 4 prime players, bro.
And it also represents the opportunity where you're not paying quarterback money. We're not going to be paying Sam next year. We're not going to be paying Baker this year. And by the way, what a great coincidence for PJ Walker that if he does continue to ball out this year, free agent as well. So if PJ does play good, we're going to have to break him off. But, it's not going to be crazy money. So you have to utilize these opportunities where you're not paying incredible amounts of money to a franchise quarterback and build the team up the right way in free agency and in the draft. And I feel like the Carolina Panthers are in a great position to do just that.
Sounds good. All right. Now it's time to bring in these golden pipes. In just a moment, we will be randomly giving away 2 car flags to one of the C3 super fans. There's 4 in this bag. I'm giving away 2 tonight, and I think I'll give away 2 in our next post-game show or whenever I get the itch to do a giveaway this week. And not now, I want to tell everybody this. I want to thank everybody for supporting the show. You can smash the thumbs up button, call in at 252-228-5098, or just join in the conversation on Twitter or in the chat right now. We do giveaways for more than just the C3 super fans. But tonight, I want to celebrate the super fans. So tonight's giveaway, not all of them are for the super fans, but some of them are. So that's another perk of being a C3 super fan. Just $1.99 a month. You can support the C3 Panthers podcast. CK, welcome our newest fan.
I would like to welcome Eric Murillo into the C3 Superfan Club. You've hit that join button to support the C3 Panthers podcast and help us continue to blow the roof off of this entire thing known as content creation among the Panthers fans and Panthers community. Thank you for the support. Welcome into the club.
And CK, don't put them pipes away yet, because you know what? We got 153 freaks watching the show. And dude, we have a time-honored tradition. If you don't know, you need to talk to him, Big Pop.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, you've joined in on this fantastic Tuesday evening show. You've stuck around for an hour and 34 minutes of complete and utter nonsense. We found a way to keep your attention, maybe even get your loyalty, your subscribe button being pressed, that notification bell being pressed, but you haven't hit that like button yet? I have one thing to say to all you absolute freaks. Subscriber shame.
$159 beautiful people, 79 thumbs up. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that way you're notified every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live and gives you this incredible Panther content that you're so craving throughout this season. We're here all the time, all year round. Y'all, we build the C3 community for y'all to feel like you can be your best fan here with the C3 Panthers podcast. Whip up on that algorithm, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and also don't forget to leave comments on the video after the shows are over, because that helps as well.
All right, let's give away these flags here, and then we got to do our prize picks. Can do a random number generator here. Right now, we have 69 C3 super fans.
Oh shit!
I know, it's sexy. But on top of that, we've been up almost to 100. I want to get us to 100 by the end of the season, folks. 69 is a fun number, though, right? It's a fun number. What we're going to do is this, I am going to hit generate two, pick a number, 3 or 2. You pick. CK, 2 or 3?
3.
3. All right. I'm going to share this right now. We are going to share this. Hold on. So we can be transparent, right? I'm going to hit this generate button 3 times. All right. And on the third time, we'll give away the flag. So 1, 2, and 3. Number 39, the 39th C3 Superfan is going to be, hold on, I'm going to count it up. I'm going to count it up in just a second. So hang out, folks. Hang out for just a second, because we got a lot to do still. 39, number 39. We need to get into our prize picks. Don't forget, the C3 Panthers podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is your, or I would say this, my favorite daily fantasy sports website, app, a place where you can play daily fantasy sports and make some real cash. It's the most fun, friendly way, I think, is for someone who likes to dip their toe, A, into fantasy football, but B, into this kind of worlds where you can make money off of fantasy football, I have been super happy with Prize Picks myself. So look, just transparency, they sponsor the podcast. If you use the code C3, your first time you go and get a deposit, you deposit up to $100, they're going to match you 100% because you use the promo code C3. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. I love Prize Picks just period. I've gotten to the point as this. I'm all over the place on this. But I want to say this is that even if they didn't sponsor the podcast, I would still keep playing this. It is remarkably fun. The way that you do this, and I'm going to show you guys how it works real quick, is share screen, Chrome tab, Prize Picks. Here we go. I'm going to show you an entry. I'm going to show you one that I placed tonight on a whim that I lost.
Yeah, you probably lost in the same thing I did, man.
No, I should have listened to you. I got an itch, and I tried to go scoreless first. I like a scoreless first in the baseball game for some reason.
That one got
and
me.
I went scoreless first inning. I went power play. I did not go the flex on this one, Greg, and I didn't get this one. Look, I would have. So the way Prize Picks works, folks, if you guys are watching this, and hopefully you can see am I screen shared right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way it works is this: you get each player is assigned a fantasy sports value, whether it's baseball, football, hockey, anything, every sport, even gaming, MMA. They got almost everything you can imagine. Individual players are assigned a fantasy sports projection number. If you have to play multiple players, a minimum of 2 players, and they cannot be on the same team. The more entries, so each player and their number, their fantasy sports projection number, each one of those, the more you play, the more you could potentially win. If you play 2 players, like say Bryce Harper, if I would have just played Bryce Harper on the Taco Tuesday with more than a hit, a run, or an RBI, like Greg mentioned on Twitter, this is like a no-brainer right here in the World Series. If I would have just played him and Suarez more than 3 strikeouts, I would have tripled my money. I would have gone from $5 to $15. But I was trying to go big. I was feeling good. And so I put 3 entries in, trying to turn my $5 into 5 times the money. And if you get 4 picks, you get 10 times your money, folks. So right now I still got this one hanging out there. 10:06 p.m. Man, D'Angelo Russell ain't scored jack yet. Oh, my God. I need him in this game. If I get Steph Curry more than 23.5 points, D'Angelo Russell more than 15.5 points, and Jimmy Butler is right there, dude. Is that game over, Greg? 740?
I haven't been paying attention to it, but those are all pretty. I would have gone less with D'Angelo Russell, but those are all pretty good.
So what we do though, and look, I can show you some past entries here.
Can I tell you before you get past that one, the most ironic part about that 0 score in the first inning and the Bryce Harper thing was Bryce Harper was the one who hit the home run in the first inning that made me lose. So I got points for Bryce Harper hitting the first pitch home run. First pitch
home run.
First pitch. Well, there was 2 outs in the bottom of the first, but it was the first pitch to him. And he just jacks it right out of the park. And I was like, well, that's great. So I scored with him hitting a home run, but he also screwed me on the first inning run thing. So he's the one who lost it for me and would have won it for me if I'd have done the flex.
So you can go power plays like this one, the 2-pick entry I won earlier this week with Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. I won that. Here is one. They have a flex option, and this helped me out last night. This was a winning ticket on just $5. I went Joe Burrow more than 265 passing yards. He had a tough game. Nick Chubb, always take more than 82 yards for Nick Chubb. And Kareem Hunt, I had more than 11.5 receiving yards. Crushed it. Thank goodness I didn't go on the power play on that. Wouldn't have won. But they have a flex play where you win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, and you're still a winner. So what we do is prize picks. We love it. That's how it works. And each week we look at the Panthers and who they're playing. We got the Panthers and the Bengals, right? Let's see if there's any projections up right now. Got to go to NFL, Panthers. Let's make some picks. PJ Walker, 190. Right now, it's early in the week. They will get a lot more entries as we get closer to game day, as they learn more about what the game's going to look like, who's healthy, who's not. Right now, we got the Bengals. We're up against the Bengals. We're on the road. Is that right? Or are we at home?
Off the top of my head,
I don't know.
I think
Are
we're
we
on
versus Cincinnati, so I imagine we're at home.
Okay. No, verse. It would be wouldn't it be at Cincinnati if they said
I'm about to look.
Right. So if it says versus, we'd be at home. So it should say at Cincinnati if we're away, but I don't know. They could just be going versus.
Okay. I see what you're
by
saying.
the way, Tony, Michael Davis said this round of prize picks is on him because he just donated $35. One of the patron saints of the C3 Panthers Podcast.
He is a patron saint.
He says, "Make a pick on me, fellas." Also, I'm not looking to trade Burns for any reason. I am, however, looking to make a trade on my fishing team. Requirements include catching fish and drinking Miller Lite. Now accepting all applications. Sounds like a damn good job.
Sounds like a great deal right
Tony,
there.
I have lost on every single time this year that I picked our quarterback to do something good, right? I bet on Baker. That never panned out. Anytime I bet on a Panther, it never seems to turn out. Except for PJ the Walker Wonder, baby. Because he hit that over against the Atlanta Falcons. And, dude, if you watch
Did you win last week?
Yeah, I won. I ended up doing 2 tickets.
Because you went flex.
I went 2 tickets. And I finally won one. If I would have reversed them and did the 3 on the one I went 4 and the 4 on the one I went 3, I would have won even bigger than I had before. But you live and you learn, man.
Is it bad that I want PJ more than 190?
Not at all. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. PJ
Jacoby Brissett did it.
And by the way, the Bengals defense, if anyone watched Monday Night Football last night, they are not a great football team. And I think Trey Hendrickson, their star defensive end, got hurt. So I don't even know if he's going to be playing. I love me some PJ Walker right now, man.
Oh, no Cincy.
Well, and they just played last night.
Yeah,
so
no Cincy picks. All right. All right. So I think I'm only going to do one Panther pick this week. I don't know. DJ over 57, more than 57. I feel good about that, actually, to be honest. I'm not afraid of it. I mean, DJ's off the show. I mean, look, he had that on one play this past week. Let's see if we can find a secret winner, though. Tua versus Chicago.
I mean, he has Claypool now.
Don't dislike that.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm thinking of Justin Fields.
Don't dislike that. Won't ever mess with no Trevor Lawrence.
No, you want to know what I'll tell you, Tony? Go find Jalen Waddle and see if you can get him for at least a touchdown, and you will not be disappointed.
I know he's on my team.
That's what right now they have him at receiving yards. Dude, that guy is balling out. I had Tyreek Hill and getting 1 touchdown, and I regret it, man. And then Waddle is the real touchdown maker in that offense.
Let's see. Receiving yards. A.J. Brown, Goddard, Pitts. Ooh, Pitts 40.5. Tough. He's had such a bad season. Is he off the shelf, though? Look at that. He's not hit he's only hit 40 twice this year. Ugh, scary. Their offense is so bad. Waddle, 70.5 receiving yards. Devontae Adams, 78.5. Anything sticking out to you guys that you like here? Justin Jefferson, too many for me. You got to find somebody. I like finding this. Like, look at this. Boom.
Was that DJ Moore? What was DJ Moore at?
DJ Moore is 57.5.
Yeah, he's right there at the top.
Ooh. I like that actually.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to not like that too, man.
Look at that.
Mm.
Power play.
So what you have? Tua. You have Tua.
Walker.
Yeah. Okay.
Over more than 190.5. Tua more than 260.5. I mean, they're playing Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not
but
bad, man.
My only concern with them facing Chicago is that now they really have no run defense whatsoever. And so
But all they do is pass the ball. Waddle and Tyreek.
But they won't have to. That's what I'm saying. Like, they can literally have Mostert, like, just run it down their throats and make it like they wouldn't have to put the ball into his hands at all.
Man, he's been on fire. The Dolphins are going to go in there and destroy it. I feel like DeAndre is good for 100 every week.
Hey, he was part of the reason why I won.
And DJ, you know what? I'm placing this. I'm making 200.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Boom. 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 All right. That's the first of many prize picks I'm gonna place this week. Thank you, Michael Davis, for supporting that, for being our patron saint and making that. And I will put $15 more of prize picks in over the next couple of days. I've already put some in tonight on baseball and basketball. Whew, it'll get you. It's so fun. Prize picks. Use the promo code C3. You get a 100% first time deposit bonus, and I'm telling you, people love it. I love it. I don't even know if you guys love it or not. I love it.
I love it.
It's
how
fun.
about this? They love us. That's our first legitimate sponsor. They believed in us before anyone else. Prize Picks.
Yep.
They're incredible, man. They've been a great partner. And if you actually want to support us and what we do and this content that we're giving you, show some love to the sponsors, man, because let me tell you, that helps us considerably in the long term. Before we go any further forward, Tony Dunn has an illegitimate son, in case you all didn't know. And he continues to quest for his father's approval. And part of the ways in which he decides to do that is to become a super fan. Codizzle, lay them smooth vibrations on him.
White chocolate espresso. Thank you so much for joining the C3 Superfan Club and continuing to be an absolute legend among the C3 fans. Thank you. Welcome to the club.
Oh, shit. That boy white chocolate. Tony Dunn, you want to do another slide or you want to just jump into some cat calls?
Let's go ahead and get into the cat calls.
All right. And remember to unmute your microphone a little bit before you play the call.
Thank you.
Because sometimes it cuts off.
I forget it. I forget it. And thank you for the reminder.
It's all good, baby. I got you. Hey, I'm the C3 producer for a reason.
I would have forgot this week, but I remembered last week after I didn't do
it. All right. Let's take some cat calls.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty you shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like...
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Oh no!
I don't hear anything.
Oh no!
Do you hear anything?
No.
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear it?
No.
No.
I leave and I come back to finish watching the game.
There you go. Start it over.
Oh, that's my fault. Jesus. Tony has done it again. And that means screwing up. And now it's not coming through. Carry me for a second.
But I tell you what, no, that's actually perfect because you know what? CK, your pipes are getting a workout tonight, brother, because you know what? we got another brand new super fan. Why don't you lay them vibrations on him?
Well, well, well. You guys can't get enough of these absolute bomb, thank you, statements that I'm making in this beautiful voice. Daniel Castro, I'd like to thank you again. Also, among the elite super fans that have hit that join button and became a part of the club that I guess, 100 people can claim to have been a part of now? Welcome into the C3 Superfan Club, and thank you for the support. Daniel Castro.
Yeah, that's my guy, Daniel.
I don't know why it's not pairing now. I'm going to try starting all over again. Pair. It says it's paired. I got the Bluetooth
Well, I tell you what.
on.
Why don't we do this? Let's how about we do another segment and go into some cat calls or another bit of discussion. Lots of trades took place today before the 4 p.m. trade deadline, and let's just kind of go around the horn and get some of our thoughts about it. You know, the Panthers didn't make too many moves, but there were some big time trades that happened, and I think it would behoove us to talk about them. How about this? Calvin Ridley on his day off, which has been every day this year, gets traded to Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is now out of Atlanta. They pick up some value for him, and now he's going to Jacksonville. Don't know how he feels about that. Bradley Chubb is now a Miami Dolphin, and that really adds to their team, and they're looking really, really good with Tua and Jalen Waddle, and now they add more players on that defense. Hey, that's a big one to me. Then we already talked about this a little bit earlier. Chase Claypool goes from Pittsburgh and now up in the Windy City with Justin Fields throwing him to rock with the Bears. I think they want to know what kind of player they have in Claypool. And then last but not least, we knew...
You mean in Fields?
Yeah, what did I say?
You said in Claypool. I think I was trying to figure out why they made that trade, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like we need to figure out about Fields before the end of the season because we're going to be in the contention again for a quarterback if we want one.
Absolutely. And you know, he is a superior talent. Put some playmakers around him, and Chase hadn't been doing a lot in that Pittsburgh offense this year. So I think that's good for all parties involved. And then we knew the Buffalo Bills were going to try and upgrade the running back room. They wanted Christian McCaffrey, but ultimately they settled for another North Carolina player. Played this ball with NC State with the Wolfpack. Nyheim Hines goes from the Indianapolis Colts to Buffalo, and now he's on a team that's ready to roll, man. So
2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
There were a few other trades I can look up, but were there any of note that kind of stood out to y'all?
No, I think the Ravens are trying to get their defense to compete, right? So they got – did they get who did Robert Quinn go to again?
He went to Philly.
Philly. Okay, that's a big one. Roquan Smith. The Bears are selling on defense in that case. So I think that one is one where, look, the Ravens are real. You know what I'm saying? Is like, what's interesting too is they didn't go and get my man Claypool. Well, I guess they're in that division. Oh, there is actually one other one that was strange, kind of strange to me, is an interdivision trade. TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I don't think that's something that happens very often.
From the Lions to the Minnesota Vikings, but the Lions are dead in the water right now, despite being fighters with that. So I guess they kind of are just chalking it up to the future. The one that is, look, I think Bradley Chubb to Miami is super interesting.
Yeah.
Miami, dude, the NFC East, right? Isn't that which one? No, the AFC East. The AFC East is like in contention to send 4 teams to the playoffs right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Which is bizarre. But Buffalo, Miami, and the Patriots are all contenders at this moment, and even the Jets are doing well. But I think Bradley Chubb I think Miami is legit, dude. I've been a darling of Miami, but largely because I picked Waddle high in my fantasy football draft, so I'm invested in them. I got Tua on another team. To me, the most bizarre trade. I don't understand the Ridley trade. Like, there's so many factors into it. Like, is he going to play? Right. Then if he plays, then there's one. Did you see that if they sign a long-term deal with him, it counts as a number 2 pick?
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 different stipulations. It's like if he plays this amount of time, it's like they can have anywhere from like a 6th round pick to a 2nd round pick from him based on
bizarre.
What he does. Yeah,
what a bizarre trade. And I mean, again, they're trying to give Trevor Lawrence some weapons. But here is like, is he like, we just don't know anything about Calvin Ridley. So Bradley Chubb's the story. Who got the bet to me? Did the Miami Dolphins get better, or did the Bills get better? Most better.
Just because the Bills are such a complete football team.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that the Dolphins aren't, but seeing what they were able to do, and now you add a back like Nyheim Hines. And by the way, go look at some of this dude's highlights. Like Nyheim Hines.
Oh no, he was nice until Jonathan Taylor came out and was like the next.
Yeah,
Nick
but
Chubb.
even when Nyheim Hines was in the game, dude, he would make some incredible plays. I kind of liken it to when Deontay Foreman, our very own Deontay Foreman, was with the Tennessee Titans last year. And yeah, they had Derrick Henry as their bell cow. But whenever you put that was a 1-2 punch. It wasn't really that much of a change, of a drop off from one to the other. I would say Buffalo with Nyheim Hines, and he went to a North Carolina school. So yeah, man, I'll go with old Buffalo, man.
All right. Any last comments on these trades, guys? Because I got the calls working.
No.
All
right,
sure?
let's rock. I think so.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
No.
This is the real AP. It's like 12:15 midnight. Sorry, I had to do some Halloween trunk or treat stuff to do this evening. I got to watch a little after halftime, and I had to leave, and I come back to finish watching the game, picked up where I left off. And I had notifications on my phone. I was like, what? I mean, I was listening to it on the radio on the way. I'm very proud of this team. From what we've had the last 3 years, and I can't remember much before that, but I don't think we've been in this game if Matt Fool was coaching us. I honestly believe that. And, Tony, I support you on this. I mean, why should you – I know it's a team game, but why should you put your kicker in that predicament? And I think it's funny, too, when they DJ caught that pretty much a Hail Mary. There should have been a PI on that, for one. And one dude, like, grabs his right arm. I mean, he's, like, dragging him down. I don't know why those penalties, if it'd been called. Maybe it'd been offset. I think if it'd been normal, he kept his helmet on, dude would have made it. We'd walked out of there with a W. But I'm just, honestly, I mean, we're 3-6. I'm happy that we're being competitive, man. I mean, I don't think it, I mean, But I'm all for Wilks. I'm on that Wilks bandwagon, man. And Al Holcomb. McAdoo's looking a little better too, man. And these cats are playing.
Yep.
They're playing ball, and it just seems like a whole different energy than it was 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. I mean, when we had Matt. So anyway, I'm proud of him, man. I know it sucks we didn't get the W, but no, I'm not thinking it's a draft. I'm about 25 minutes into watching y'all's podcast, but I'm proud of him. I'm proud to be a fan, and there's still a lot of building to do, building blocks, and it's right now, the past 3 weeks, especially the past 2 weeks, it's looking good, in my opinion. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. I'll holler later. Keep pounding. Peace.
My man called in with another call. We're going to honor him with another call. He called in 3 times. I'm only going to give him 2. All right. And then we'll come back to it if we get through them fast enough. But here's part 2.
Hey, what's up, fellas? The real AP again. I'm about hour 40 into the post game on Sunday. And some of these dudes, some of y'all, man, y'all talk about this and that. This. Oh, yeah. You remind me of that Ed Bassmaster. He does that character. Would you look at that? Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. That's what you sound like, man. Would you just look at it? And you're not looking at it. You're just picking and choosing. I mean, that's what people are doing. Yeah, it's a team game, man. And, I mean, come on, man. You can't – I'm still with Tony, man. You can't blame it. You shouldn't put your kicker in that position. You are offense and defense. 22 people, 11. Do your job. You're talking about the kicker's got one job. Every single man on that field has one job. Do your job. I mean, you can't. I'm not hating on the dude. Y'all talking about trading him away, kicking him off. Yeah, what? Who is there? Who you going to get?
Dude, he looked like he was.
Y'all probably want to call Adam Vinatieri out of retirement and be like, yeah. Y'all crazy,
right,
man.
We appreciate the call. Look, I appreciate the support here. And I do like, when I say me, I like because I took a ribbon on since then. I just like the win as a team, lose as a team. And I understand plays matter. And he didn't win the game for us. Greg, you had a point to make? Muted. Man, we're awesome. We're so good at this. You would think that we've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Like I said, I still gotta go with that mindset of like, first of all, I want to say that I never called for his job. I can be mad at the guy, and I'm not saying he said that I did, but I know I personally never called for his job. But I hate when somebody says you shouldn't put your kicker in that situation. No, that's part of the job description. If any other players in that situation, the quarterback has to make the pass, the wide receiver has to make the catch, and they drop it, you can't say, well, you shouldn't have put him in that situation.
No, that's a good point.
That's their job, is to do that.
Well, that's the position they're supposed to be in.
Exactly. You're supposed to fulfill your needs. Now, not everybody, like I said, does that the entire game. I get that. But you're talking about a guy who does 3 or 4 plays a game as opposed to people who do 50, 60 plays a game. So I have a little more leeway with people screwing up a little more on those 50, 60 plays than the guy doing it on the one.
Or does he not have enough opportunity to make up a mistake? Is that they're also, that's the other thing, is that they're so valuable. Yeah, I mean, he fucking blew it, man. I get it. I get how, look, is that these kicks are makeable kicks, both of them. And he had been pretty money all the way since week 1.
Yeah.
And it just sucks at that moment. I do agree with the language you're talking about, is like, don't put him in that position. Is like, yeah, that's actually the position you do put him in, is to kick a field goal and win the game. But that's why that position. and I believe this, is I know it's just easy. So you only got one job. All you do is kick. Is if it was so automatic, then there would be more Justin Tuckers in the league. And that is the whole point, is they make those kicks in practice all the time. But when all the pressure, all of this, that's the whole reason there's only, first of all, there's not 32 great kickers in the NFL.
No, there's not. But the thing is, if you have kickers who make kicks like that, you're going to raise them up and say they're great kickers.
Yeah.
Therefore, if they miss kicks
that's
like
why
that,
you can be a hero or you could be a zero, dude.
Right.
And I mean, but at the end of the day, is that if like your quarterback, if you're on the 7-yard line and you have a receiver who, like, and you miss the throw, do they lose the game for you? Nah, I don't know if they lost the game for you, but they didn't win it. Again, I know that's a semantics. Maybe you guys feel like that's mental gymnastics.
Yeah.
But I do think is that winning takes a collective effort. Each play does matter in some case. Now, this is a big deal right here.
Yeah. See, this is why I'm not trying to hear what y'all got to say. This is why I'm not trying to hear.
This is the fucking world now, dude. This is pregame. This is the world.
No. Let me tell you why.
Nah.
Because whenever you're watching, many of us have been to an NFL game before.
This is warm-ups, dude.
When you go to an NFL game, you see the kicker practicing kicks from different distances before the game. Meanwhile, this dude can't act like he's ever been there before, and he's taking selfies of himself and posing for the gram and doing all this type of shit.
Bro, did he not practice?
I know. I know. Who cares? This is the world today.
And then you're gonna go on to miss the final 2 game-winning kicks.
See,
this is the world today. I was walking out of the grocery store and this hot girl, and I don't know if you can trust yoga pants anymore because they take them off and they're looking like Jello coming out the bowl. But it's one of those people you look twice at when you walk by. She just was walking out of the grocery store. As soon as she walked out of the grocery store, and then just kept moving on. That's the fucking world we live in.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say by any means that affected. I think he missed those kicks because of the pressure, and he just messed up. I think he's a good kicker because up to this point he's been that way. He did not practice. He maybe stopped and took a selfie, whatever. He can do that. But I guarantee you, when he goes to kick that last few kicks, that's not in his mind. Is that selfie that he was taking at the beginning of the game?
Why wasn't he practicing?
No, it's just those things catch up with you. It's like the internet always wins. That's what it is.
They took 10 seconds of that and showed it to you, and you took the bait and said that was what he was doing before the game.
All right, let's keep moving. We're going to come back to this. Hold it. We're going to come back to it. Let's go to Corey.
Hey, what's good, fellas? It's Corey calling in.
What up, Corey?
Give me my Monday morning takes. Yesterday was obviously a very emotional game. I honestly was pretty even killed watching it because, I just love the fact that the game was at least exciting. And win or lose, if we won, cool, great. We lost. Honestly, I wasn't going to be too upset either way anyway because, draft picks, cool, all that good shit, whatever. But I don't really think, I'm not in the tanking or division lead-in camp. I'm honestly just watching the games, and whatever happens is gonna happen. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really rocking with none of these quarterbacks in the first round. I don't think a top 5 pick is gonna get us that much different a player than it would the number 18 pick or some shit like that. That's just me. Yeah, let me think. What happened yesterday? Yeah, let me pound the table for my nigga Dante Foreman, man. This is what people were talking about when we said we should have traded CMC. Not because Christian McCaffrey is not a great player, he's not this, he's not that. He's all these amazing things. He had an amazing game for San Francisco yesterday. But Dante Foreman had 180 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he's getting paid just over $1 million this year. And we got draft picks back for Christian McCaffrey, and we're a team that has a lot of holes. With Christian being as great as he is, he wasn't the piece that was going to put us over the top. It was always going to be quarterback, right? But if you can get great production out of a running back for a fraction of the cost, and get stuff back for him, you do that 100 times out of 100. And like, okay, is Dante Foreman individually as good of a player as Christian McCaffrey is? No, but he works for our offense. He does what we need him to do, and he's not, getting paid like a receiver, right? But whatever. Terrace Marshall, yeah, bro, he got it. This is the first. I was looking up his stats. This is the first time he played like 80% of the snaps this game. This is the first time he's been over 50. Like, he hasn't even been close to playing 50% of the snaps. Get this motherfucker on the field. He's talented. He needs reps. He needs to get comfortable. He's going to continue to be better, man. We're going to see Terrace Marshall Jr. by the end of the year. We're going to be really excited what we have in him, man. Mark my words. Yeah, look, don't blame DJ. If you're blaming DJ, you're a fucking nerd. I don't care. Like, rules are rules, whatever you want to call it. Even if you say, like, people saying, nah, he wasn't even in the field to play. But fuck that shit, man. Make your field goals. 33 yards, 48 yards, and make your field goals. Keep pounding.
Completely agreed, man. Make your damn kicks.
Yep.
Make your damn kicks. We're doing all this semantics. Make your damn kicks.
Yeah,
the Panthers have not had that since Graham.
Here's the thing, is that Panero has been pretty good for us getting them out of nowhere in comparison to us having a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, I don't got a problem with the selfie pick. I would say he looks like a nerd more than I got a problem with the pick. But that's just me being old. I do want to go ahead and do this. While I got this up. Let me stop sharing. I'm going to show you guys the screen just so I can show you this is the winner right here because I had to count backwards. CJ06 is the winner of two car flags. Two car flags right there. And we're going to give away two more on the post game coming up. I bought some the other things I've been buying some patches. So you guys, like some people like to sew patches onto their jerseys or some different things like that. I think I'm going to put them in like a frame and try to make them cool. So you can maybe put them on your desk or something. So those are some things coming up on the horizon for all fans coming up. You guys can support the podcast by calling in at 252-228-5098. Subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter. These are the types of things we're doing. We're trying to build and grow. We have had such crazy growth for us, or at least maybe not in the YouTube. I feel like I'm saying Wu-Tang. In the YouTube world compared to other people, but for us, we've had incredible growth over the past year, and I've been so thankful for you guys who have come here and watched this show until crazy hours at night. Want to go to the next call?
Can we welcome one more person?
Yes, please.
Another one.
This is a return member, so some of the things like like my bastard son, he said he got a new card.
We just did this one. We already did, Daniel.
Did we? There was another one. I thought that. Maybe I'm tripping.
Okay.
I'll look for it. Go ahead and play
Next
for
call.
another call. I thought there was another one.
Hey, good afternoon, boys. Beautiful North Carolina day here in Jamestown. This is Baby Rhino. I haven't called you guys in a couple of weeks. I've actually been kind of superstitious of that since we won a game and then almost won a game. I was like, every time I call C3 boys, we lose. So that theory proved to be wrong. But yeah, I mean, pretty impressive game. It just goes to show you like what happens when there's a quarterback that can throw a ball like PJ and get it in the hands of our star receiver DJ Moore. Have mixed feelings on whether that call was legit as far as should it have been thrown or not. But anyway, it is what it is now. Just calling in, getting you guys' thoughts. Still continue to get us through this hard time being a Panthers fan. Not really sure where we go from here, but
it's gotten so much
a high
easier.
draft pick would be kind of my ideal scenario. Everybody hit the subscribe, hit the like, give these boys what they need. They do it week in, week out. Smash it. So take care, boys.
Cow.
Baby Rhino out. Keep pounding.
Stars are aligning. Look, he said, give these boys what they need, a like, a subscribe, and support. And then God delivers a patron saint to us. And it's to the point where it's like, we love you. It's like, man, we just need to go.
Dude.
We want to
He's
hug
the
you.
man. He is the certified man. Another one.
Big one. These are big.
$35 love bomb from Michael Davis, man. Shout out to Michael. You are indeed the man. He says, serious comment. Game was heartbreaking. That can affect the team deeply. Impact the entire season even. How does the team respond? And is that response the beginning of a measure of what kind of a coach Steve Wilks and cast are? Michael,
I have an opinion about this.
I believe that's exactly what me and CK have been saying. That if Steve Wilks and PJ Walker continue to move at the same trajectory and continue to grow and continue to get better and continue to look competent in their job, I don't know how you don't give these men the benefit of the doubt. I just don't know.
Why is it just you and CK? I feel like Greg and I are about to hire him right now.
Because I think you and I are more on Wilks than PJ.
Right,
they're looking at it. They're looking at it as a.
But that's what it says, Wilks. Yeah. It doesn't say PJ in the comment.
That's what I was thinking too. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
It says Steve Wilks and cast are so Steve Wilks and the entirety of this team, and that includes his biggest decision as head coach, and that's PJ Walker at quarterback. So yeah, I do think those two, like CK was saying, they are tethered together to one another. And I don't think that you can appreciate one without appreciating the other in the same kind of way.
Right.
So
I hate this. I mean, I don't hate to say this. I mean, I mean to say this is I feel like the team's performance to this point has already done what Michael is asking if they can do.
Yeah, I agree.
And the thing is if Ben McAdoo takes over this team in the absence of Matt Rule, are we here we at? I don't know.
No,
I don't know. It's like right now it comes to the point is that where our last caller said that thanks for helping us get through this tough time as being a Panthers fan. Is like I feel like the tough times are behind us now that Matt Rule's gone. With Steve Wilks, I'm like excited to watch football now. That game was so exciting. We lost that game, but I'm not even upset. I mean, I'm kind of upset. But, that game was awesome. We've looked great for 2 weeks in a row. We even looked all right against the Rams. We had our best game, just not offensively, but complete. Right now, and I saw Sheena Quick. Somebody put a tweet about this. She went on the radio and said this. And Sheena's been doing big things, so shout out to her. And obviously, she's not poaching my takes by any means. But she said when Steve Wilks talks to you in the media and stuff like that, he feels like a head coach. Like you have confidence, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's just like the presence is there. And that's what I said from day one.
Right.
Is that it's just like immediately like, whoa.
Yeah. I think it's apparent to everyone.
I think the difference is for me, y'all, is I can bring in a lot of different quarterbacks and put up numbers minus the huge numbers that PJ Walker just put up. Because we'll see if that continues because he was playing against third string safeties and cornerbacks, but I'm not trying to take away from him. But I can bring a lot of players in to put up the numbers that PJ Wilks does, and the PJ Walker, won't change as much as if I took Steve Wilks out right now and just dropped somebody new in there.
Well, we would think that. Let's see. How about this? You want to know if Steve Wilks is the dude? What if we make him start Baker? Be like this is what David Tepper goes to Steve Wilks and he says, all right, if you can keep up this momentum and with Baker Mayfield as your quarterback, you're hired right away. There you go, yeah. Good God, because I mean, it's like almost like that would be not almost, that's a downgrade. It's like, Wilks would be like, oh shit.
And by the way, John B. Jenkins in the chat says, bro, y'all leaving me out of this convo? We would never leave out the biggest PJ Walker
Witness
super
the Walker
fan.
Wonder?
John Jenkins has been on PJ Walker since before anyone had a reason to even when PJ was not a part of the
Why?
conversation.
Actually, can we
John
ask
was
John?
saying PJ the Walker Wonder, baby.
John, tell us in the chat, why is it that you fell so instantly in love with PJ?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when was it? So there's a couple of, like, I mean, obviously my wife is my love of my life. But there's some like
It's
crushes
not me, dude.
Oh no, definitely not. Yeah. No, you're like my yang. I just all right. So this girl, like when the elementary, middle school crush, Catherine. It was this girl named Catherine Dale, and it was 6th grade, and I remember like the moment still that I saw. I'm like, like it's the moment, and I don't know. There's got to be like, where were you at 9/11? Like, where were you? When was the moment that you fell in love with PJ Walker? I got to know. You got to know the moment. Obviously, it's like, oh, I saw him play. Da da da.
How about this? Even C-Dog is in here giving PJ the vote of confidence, man. And by the way, C-Dog was in Atlanta, watched this game in person, so he got to see all of that in person. Hey, man, I think PJ, the more he plays, he's going to continue turning people into believers.
He said the
once
XFL.
Again, I want to put out there once again, I'm not saying I'm not a PJ believer. I'm saying if you had to ask me right now, you can sign one of them to a long-term deal. I'm signing Steve Wilks before I'm signing PJ Walker. I think PJ has the talent and the ability. Whether that will come true, him playing this well, time will tell. But if I had to sign one right now, it'd be Steve Wilks.
I'm just saying this is I like PJ. I've been like I root for guys like this all the time.
Right.
My whole point is this: even with Matt Corral and PJ, is that I just feel like this: if you had a top 5 pick, the idea of passing on a quarterback right now for where we've been at is such a big. Whoa, that would be insane. But you know what? The good news is though. You know what is the next coach is going to have that decision.
Sure.
And that will be their decision.
Right.
Not ours. Let's go with the next
John did say it started in the XFL.
Yeah.
So short. That's when he saw him and started believing.
Oh yeah, and look, good comment by Len here. I just hope PJ doesn't need a whole quarter to get in the game. You guys weren't ready to sign him to a long-term deal after he started 4 for 9 or whatever it was.
It's a different time.
All right. Next.
What's up, C3?
What's good?
It's Anthony from Charlotte.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just thought I'd call in and give my thoughts for the game. Hold on a second. So yeah, tough loss, obviously. A lot of things you can point to. Eddie Pinero missing the 2 kicks. PJ Walker throwing the pick 6. But I do want to talk about one thing. I get that there's no consensus QB1 in this next coming draft. From what everyone seems to tell me all of a sudden, Bryce Young or CJ Stroud aren't worth taking. And that's fine if you think that. But let me ask you this. Our offensive line is playing like a top 5 unit right now. We have retained all our core pieces after the trade deadline. I mean, I just seriously think if you put a rookie quarterback in that spot, let him develop with this offense. This is an offense that a QB is going to want to go to. And the reason I'm talking about this is because, guys, I like PJ Walker. I love this team, okay? I wouldn't care about this team so much if I didn't give a shit about them. And I love PJ Walker, but I just don't know if he can continue to sustain success. And that's why, if it goes south, I am okay with taking a quarterback. Whoever it is, the preference does not matter. I just, I think once we have that dude, once we know who that guy is, we will be able to start competing. And here, the last thing I want to say is,
I feel bad for Wilks, man, and I love being optimistic about things. I do. I really do. And it's hard for me to be optimistic about this team is because we're already 8 weeks into the season and Matt Rule gave us 4 losses. It's just hard to really make the playoffs when you're, 2-6. And we have some hard games coming up. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we got the Bengals next, then the Falcons again.
That's not hard.
I mean, we can't say that's an easy win now. You got the Ravens, the Bucks again, the Saints again. I mean, we have work to do. If this team wants to make a run, we gotta win these games. We cannot finish the season with another 5 wins.
I got something to say after this.
I don't even think that we need to. That's the call. That's the call. Go ahead.
No, it's just that, okay, if you're in love with one of these college quarterbacks, like, I need you to understand that you're doing the same thing that you are all blaming me of doing with Matt Corral, right? We got, maybe 5 minutes of preseason footage of Matt Corral, and you're already done with him. So, therefore, you're just evaluating college tape. Well, if I can evaluate college tape of Matt Corral and see all the traits that I want and say, okay, I'm willing to take a bet on this guy to see what we have. Well, you're doing the same thing with these quarterbacks that are in big-time offenses like Ohio State and Alabama. There is no guarantee that any of these guys are going to pan out. I understand that for Matt Corral,
but you
too.
Believe in them,
but just because somebody is drafted number 1 or number 2, that doesn't mean they're actually going to amount to being a better player than a 3rd-round pick, especially when they're on these powerhouse football teams like Ohio State and Alabama.
I'm just saying, have some guts, dude. Is that, yes, you're right, there's always uncertainty, but you pick a guy you believe in, and you got to shoot your shot sometime.
We did.
Then why did we pick? We could have picked him at 6 then.
The difference is, Cody, with that is I get what you're saying.
They're not better than Corral.
All we're going by is college tape. But look, man, you're also talking about college tape on players who are Heisman winners or Heisman candidates. And don't give me Corral was until the bowl game and that kind of stuff.
Because he was, but that is relevant, though. How is that not relevant?
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
How seriously in contention was he for the Heisman?
Even after injury
at the bowl game. And
how about this?
Dude, the guy from Carolina could win the Heisman this year.
How about this? Even after he got injured, he finished 7th in Heisman voting.
7th. That's not seriously.
How many players get hurt and then finish at
all? Matt Corral's coming out. He can't walk right now, dude.
For a Heisman.
Matt Corral cannot fucking walk right now.
These other motherfuckers have more talent.
Do you want a 7th?
And they play for much better football team.
Gosh.
My thing is, man, is you're talking about players.
What does Bryce Young do as a quarterback that Matt Corral doesn't? Or on Alabama with the
but he actually has brought them back. He's done some pretty fucking miraculous shit, dude. He's done some pretty miraculous stuff.
Matt Corral Alabama receivers and an Alabama Fortress of Solitude offensive line, and then see how Matt Corral
and Bill O'Brien.
I can't argue college football with you, but I do know that if you're a team that's playing, it's one of these lesser teams, you tend to play lesser talent.
Well, he was in the SEC.
Lesser talented teams.
But man, look, if the Carolina Panthers believe that one of these top quarterbacks is better straight up against Matt Corral in his best conditions, they would be malpractice to not pick him. Sunk cost. You can't. There's no sunk cost narrative here. Just because you pick Matt Corral, you got to go and try to figure it out.
Yeah, if you're picking top 3, I'm not saying that they're gonna go with Corral over one of the top dudes. I'm saying if you're a fan and you're sitting here saying, "Oh, dude, all the Carolina Panthers need is a C.J. Stroud. Oh, dude, all they need is a Bryce Young." But that's just as relevant as me saying all we need is the dude that we already fucking have.
And you
okay. I know. You know what? This is why you're great for the podcast because, boy, you don't let up on your takes.
Hell no.
He don't back down. He hasn't budged a fucking bit on this. In fact, not only once he digs in more.
Yeah.
It's like,
Now
I'm on this hill. Now I'm gonna build a platform to the sky on this hill.
And I'm gonna talk
Let's go.
shit
This next call is about us, Cody. About you and I.
Oh.
Tony, big fan out here in Idaho. But I got to say, you owe Cody an apology. He told you at the end of the draft last year that Shi Smith would have 600 yards receiving. I think you guys bet $5 on it. And given the track record he's got right now, 14.92 yards per game played, he will surpass that 600 yards at week 9 of the 2025 season. So you're going to owe him that $5.
I was sitting here, I was like, wait a second.
Adjusted for inflation, that should be $7.91. Keep pounding, guys. Love the work you do.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Damn you, Calder.
That was great.
I was on your side and you betrayed me.
He was trolling you, bro.
I was doing the math in my head like something's not right.
I know. I was like, oh, is he gonna say that you get to count return yards and preseason yards? Nah, this mode. Greg, pull his stats. Pull his stats.
Oh God, do we really have to spend 20 minutes?
No, we're not. We're going next call. We're going next call.
Falcons brothers, how y'all doing? It's G Cavassier. Hey, I got one sentence to say. On Cincinnati, and how they looked last night, I believe my Panthers can beat them. I think we can. Keep pounding.
Like it.
Shi Smith has 8 receptions for 105 yards this season.
That's actually kind of good on 8 receptions.
I mean, it's close to
14 and a half. He did say that 14.5. How has he even gotten that many yards?
It's actually
that's crazy.
It's 13.1 after this game. So
that's pretty
he
wild.
He had 0
actually.
receptions and 0 yards in the last 2 games.
Speaking of that, is I'm thinking this is Terrace Marshall Jr. time right now.
Yeah.
He's played. I was listening to something, or maybe I was just reading in fantasy football. I picked him. I have right now in my keeper league. Everybody's on a bye. I got Hollywood Brown who's on IR, and I'm making a push right now, dude. I got Waddle. I got CMC. Who else do I got? Kenneth Walker the third. I picked him late. Who's going to be my keeper? Like I always am trying to pick a back in those mid rounds. You know, I think I picked him in the 6 or 7, so he's going to be a keeper for the next 5 years for me. I think, and you know, I picked Terrace Marshall Jr. up off the waiver wire today, and what they were citing is he had maybe 80 yards last week, but that he's playing a ton of snaps right now.
Yeah,
like 95% of the snaps or something.
Isn't that crazy? We're just playing a player on Sunday.
Why? How
for
could
your
this?
Career.
What? No, I agree with that. But like, what could have really? I always wondered this. I've always wondered this is like, particularly if Matt Rule was not uber involved. Like, you know, he's not an offensive guru. Why is it? Was it just because Robbie Anderson was his boy? Like, why is it that Terrace Marshall Jr. was so in Matt Rule's doghouse, and then now he is like out there performing?
Who was our last offensive coordinator? The guy from LSU?
Joe Brady.
Did Joe Brady and Terrace Marshall Jr. Wasn't Terrace Marshall Jr. from LSU as well?
Yeah, that was his dude. But I'm saying this just 4 weeks ago, Terrace Marshall. No, 6 weeks ago, Terrace Marshall Jr. was 0. It wasn't even making the active roster.
Let's see how would he got in 2 weeks. I bet he's beating
Well,
shots.
we never talked about this on the show, but after Matt Rule was fired, Kenny Robinson, former Carolina Panther, put out a tweet, and it was very clearly directed at Matt Rule.
Oh, yeah. He said so. He got an issue with him or something?
Yeah, like basically kind of making it like there are coaches that don't want to see you succeed and they don't want to see you thrive. And it might sound kind of like childish on its head to think that coaches like hold grudges. But, dude, they're all men. They're all people. They're human beings.
What did he, like, make a pass at his wife or something?
Who knows what happens in a locker room or on the field that just makes a coach refuse to believe in a player and whether or not he should have a chance or not. Look, man, I still think that Deontay Brown could be a better guard than we even know because he's never gotten a good chance. By the way, I don't think Matt Corral was given a good chance in preseason. Matt Rule was an absolute moron who did not know how to. Not only did he not know how to manage the talent on this football team, but this man couldn't evaluate talent for shit.
There was one other thing that came out in one of the recent. I don't know if it was the Fowler story on ESPN Plus that I haven't been able to read the whole thing, or if it was on the Athletic and Joe Person. By the way, we're gonna have Joe Person next week on the Beat Check.
Ooh, nice.
Or a 80% chance. He said he couldn't do it this week, but he thinks he can do it next week. It was like that Matt Rule bullied, like bludgeoned people in the front office until basically everybody just gave up.
Yeah, he would wear them out.
Right. It was just like, the other thing that was, here was one that, I saw one tweet from a former player, a guy who's in the league right now. Actually, might not be. Maybe he's in the XFL or something like that. But the guy, he told, Matt Rule said when he was a high school recruit or whatever, that he would never be a Division I football player. And then he's like a pro. He's like, I mean, he might be in the XFL or something right now. But as soon as Matt Rule was fired, he fired that off. So, all right, next call.
Hey, guys. Tyler here. Hope you're having a great night. Hope you've had a great Halloween. I live out here in Orange County, California. And so I was Christian McCaffrey for Halloween yesterday at work. So I represented the Panthers.
Nice.
The Panthers. One of my patients actually asked if I wanted to be a loser for Halloween. I'm not kidding. They literally asked, "You decide to be a loser for Halloween." That's how bad we are right now, I guess. But do the Panthers have an opportunity to still be in it? Absolutely. I think the biggest game, obviously the game coming up is big, but the game with the Falcons after the Bengals, I think if we win that game, we're definitely in a big position to win the division. But if we lose that game, and definitely if we lose against the Bengals, we're potentially out 3 games. And I just don't see us coming out of that. I think a lot has to depend with PJ Walker. He's obviously getting better, but he still makes those crucial mistakes, the pick six, right? You can't have that. He's, again, he does take a little bit to heat up like he did last week, but he's getting better. And I potentially can see him, if the Panthers do not have a top 2 pick, I can see him possibly being a bridge quarterback until we find one. But definitely they're in a contention to compete for the NFC South. Steve Wilks, I think, depending on obviously wins, but he's definitely been able to put this team together, right? The players have not quit on each other or themselves. He's definitely allowed this team and, been a good leader of men. But at the same time, I honestly just don't see David Tepper. Unless we win the division, go to the playoffs, I don't see him honestly picking Steve Wilks. I think he should be considered because he's done a hell of a job with the position he's been at. But I just don't see Tepper hiring him as the head coach unless he goes on that. Unless we win the division and go on a playoff run, I just see Tepper really wanting an offensive-minded coach. So if we do not, if we're not in a position to pick a quarterback in the draft, I honestly wouldn't be mad about Will Anderson if we could pick him up. Can you imagine Will Anderson, Burns, and Brown on the D-line? That's pretty sick, but I would love a quarterback. So hope you guys have a good night. Talk to you in the next one.
Appreciate you, man. Dude, awesome call, man. Dressed up as McCaffrey, he's working in hospitals, man, like that. He's the man, dude. He's absolutely the man. He comes on the free for all too. Shout out to Alex. Yeah, man.
All right.
Let's get some more calls.
Let's keep rocking. All right. Car sounds. Next call. This is Chuck from Elizabeth City.
Hey guys, Chuck from Elizabeth City, aka Carolina sports guy. Sitting around and thinking today, and it just kind of dawned in my head, we've had some tough losses. The Cleveland game, the referees robbed us. I do believe the referees robbed us this week with the DJ Moore penalty. We could easily be 4-4, really even 5-3. I saw the Giants as a game that we lost. We probably should have won, but not to nitpick. We are what we are. But the one thing I do notice, I like Wilks as a coach. Now, I do think we'll replace him. But I'm hoping we do get an offensive-minded coach or whatever coach we get, and I hope we somehow can keep Wilks as a defensive coordinator. I love what he brings to the table. Plus, he has that tie with the old school teams that we had that won pretty well. We don't need Rivera back, but I just believe Wilks brings something that the kind of grit we need. Now, I will say this. I've had a crow about PJ Walker. He's looked pretty decent these last two games, really good. And it kind of makes me wonder why the hell we didn't try throw the ball more in the Rams game with him. But needless to say, we've made the right decision, as bad as it was to get rid of CMC. Definitely a good idea to get rid of Robbie Anderson. I'm seeing a lot of other people play and starting to shine. Our defense is looking good. We do need a couple people there. And our offensive line to me is starting to come along. Now, here's where I'm really looking at, and I think it's a win-win situation. If we do pick top 5, somehow we're in the top 5, now we can get a franchise quarterback. The thing I like, keep PJ. Let him be our starter, especially if he can shine or rise out these last half of the season. He's good enough to kind of get us through. He would be a great true bridge quarterback till we get the rookie we bring in as a franchise quarterback. Let him learn that first year. I think that would be outstanding. Let P.J. Walker let this rookie learn from his leadership. P.J. kind of builds us back up, lets us go. He gets his playing time in, and the rookie isn't thrown into the fire right away.
I like
and
this
I just think that's the best schedule.
Good call, Chuck from Elizabeth City. I like that idea. If you are drafting that franchise quarterback, that doesn't mean that you still have to part ways necessarily with P.J. Walker, but he is going to command a little money at this rate as a backup quarterback. We'll see just if anybody's willing to take a chance on him as a starter. Let's go to the next call.
Corral, baby.
Hey guys, it's Jedi Joy.
Jedi.
This one's call in. I actually went down to Atlanta this past weekend with my mom, and we went to the game. And I will say, even though the outcome wasn't great, it was a great time. Definitely got my money's worth. It was, I dare say, I don't think I've seen a Panthers game that exciting. Definitely not in the rule era. Maybe like back in the 2015 season. It was crazy.
Sure.
I thought that it was going to be a whole bunch of Falcons fans talking trash, and I talked a little bit of trash to some guys, but everybody was pretty much cool. Beautiful stadium if you haven't been to Mercedes-Benz Stadium yet. The concessions, they had burgers and fries and chicken tenders and fries for like $6, which is unimaginable to me. I'm like, why can't we not pay an arm and a leg for food at Bank of America Stadium? And we got to see PJ Walker, turn into Willie Beeman out there. That's any given Sunday reference if you don't get it. But I don't know. Like, even though it was a loss, I'm still excited for the rest of the season. Hopefully we can go take down Cincinnati.
You dreaming?
I'm good.
Ooh, that's the weird part about that. I want to know what he says there.
I don't even remember that came after that, dude.
Yeah, and is he saying, next call.
You might need to cut that one a little.
Nah, man, I'm going to cut Jackie, man. That's Jamie Foxx.
Hey, C3, this is Panthers Journey. The Bengals coming up should be a good matchup. Gives me hope after seeing them get blown out by the Cleveland Browns. Here's what I'm tired of is I'm tired of, our fans. We beat the Bucs, and all of a sudden, here's so much hope, this and that, and then we lose a close one in Atlanta, after lots of mistakes, and they're like, oh, our season's over again. No, you know what? This division is ass. We have a shot still at this division. It's not over. We're still right where we are when we beat the Bucs.
Right.
If we sneak by the Bengals, there we are again with another shot to take or tie the division. Carolina fans, you gotta stick by your team. And I'm still hopeful. I'm not crazy optimistic. That we're gonna win the division, but we're still there, and I think we will be to the end of the year. This team can compete. Deontay looks good. The offense looks decent enough, way better than what it was at the beginning of the season. The defense, they can make plays. They make game-changing plays. PJ, he's looking competitive enough. So you either stick by your team or you don't. I'm tired of hearing the change in tone. I think this team is competitive. And, there were a lot of mistakes. You can blame it on DJ. You can blame it on the kicker, whatever. There were mistakes the entire game, especially earlier. Had those not been there, we probably wouldn't come down to a field goal kick. We won, before the game's over. I think this team is going to be looking good forward in the next year. Hopefully, I have optimism. And if we do beat the Bengals, which I do think we can compete with them right now, I think we can compete with any team on our schedule right now. I don't know. We'll see. But you either fucking stick with your team or you don't. I'm tired of the wishy-washy, having hope or not. This team is still right there. We're competitive, guys. Be happy. You should be happy about that game in Atlanta, not the outcome, but what we saw from our team coming back from being down. That's something new. That's something really new because we haven't seen that in God knows how long. To be able to come back from a down, unbelievable. All right. Thank you, C3, again, for what y'all do. Have a good one.
Good
Appreciate
call.
you,
I want to say this, though, is that I agree with you. Look, I think people can want and believe that potentially a high draft pick could be good for their team and still be sticking with their team. I guess this is that. No, I think, but there is excitement right now with this team. There's more excitement in the last 2 weeks with this team than I've felt in the last 2 years. Which is crazy.
Easily.
Which is crazy.
You should have seen the cave whenever they hit that DJ hit that touchdown. Everybody that was watching the game was going nuts.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you see me? Papa, can you find me in the night? Papa, are you near me? Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you help me not be frightened? Wow. Fuck you, Dad.
Hey.
That's real. You can feel the
he's
emotion.
my kid. He's my kid.
Yeah, you can feel the emotion. You should call him something.
Hey. You know who the fuck it ain't. Boyka! This ain't G Baby, but I got a lot to say about G Baby. G Baby, why you such a bitch, man?
Oh.
Like, why are you never happy about anything? Like, I mean, I think I think you're a pessimist for a living or something. I think you make money off of that. Cause dude, you've gotta be happy with this team, dude. Look at the dumpster fire we were. Look at the dumpster fire we were when we came into this year. Look at what we were able to do last week against the Bucs and this game against the Falcons. And yeah, dude, I get it. It fucking sucks to lose to the Dirty Birds, I hate the Dirty Birds. Fuck Atlanta. They're all annoying. That rise up shit is shit.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, if you walk away from that game saying we have the number 1 pick in the draft and we have it locked and loaded, then I don't know what the fuck you're watching, dude. I mean, technically I'm not watching anything and I don't see that, but still, I listen to games on the radio. I go to the games. I feel the energy, and this energy feels like the energy of a winning team. And I'm talking playoff team. I'm not talking wild card team. I'm not talking sneak in the back door of the wild card. What was it, 2018 Buffalo Bills style? I ain't talking about that shit. Nah. Or no, it was 2017 because they played the Jacksonville Jaguars. And when they had their good year. But no, I ain't talking about none of that shit. I'm talking about divisional round or maybe even championship. That's the type of team we're playing like. So I don't know what is up with y'all. And one thing I gotta say to people like y'all, bless your heart. I know you're from Utah, G baby, but you better get used to that because people are gonna be telling you that a lot. Anyway, guys. Wow.
Awesome call. Hey, if G Baby is gonna dish it out at the level that he dishes it out, you better be able to take it too, man.
One of the things is a lot of callers don't believe that G Baby is black.
Yeah,
right?
we always have to do a preface whenever he drops the N-word. We promise you, G Baby can say
it comes on the Friday for real. But how about this is being black in Utah too?
Yeah, I mean,
man,
I
that's
haven't,
they can't have. It's not like they can't be like
look
giant
at
black power.
BYU though. Look at BYU. I mean, you know they've
beautiful people.
They've got I mean.
Oh, you mean the team that loses to Pirates? How about this? Oh my God, we beat them, bro. We beat them this past week. We're going to a bowl game. We're going to a bowl game.
What's our
homie.
record? What's the CU's
We got the
record
6 wins right now. That was our 6th win.
Y'all still got the quarterback with the mullet?
Who's that? Nah, we got Holt Nailers, big giant kid from 2 blocks down the road from where I live at.
His name's Holt Nailers.
Holt Nailers.
That's the baddest ass name I've ever heard. I'm sorry. That is
was that
awesome.
the last call?
No. Next.
Okay.
It's me, C-Dog.
C-Dog.
Real quick, make sure when you come in here, you hit the like button. Make sure you got that subscribe to this motherfucking great content. It be up here every goddamn Tuesday, every Friday. Then we got the meta simulation. You know what I'm saying? It could be with their families, but they took times out of their personal lives to entertain you guys. Now, man, I'm very excited for the rest of the year. PJ Walker has been fucking balling. When Patrick Mahomes come out and say that PJ Walker made the best throw of the year or the week or whatever, I'll take that. You know, I'm just really ready to go down here Sunday and whoop the Bengals' ass because they laid an egg yesterday. You know, so I don't know, man. Everybody should be excited, man. You know, Steve Wilks, you come out here and keep these boys playing like this for the rest of the season. You need to be our head coach next year. There's no need to have to find anybody else. Especially the way he got PJ playing. I don't know what he told PJ 2 weeks ago, but PJ been motherfucking balling. You know what I'm saying? And when I was at the game, I was so mad when DJ Moore got that touchdown pass. Cause I'm talking about, man, even DJ Moore got the happy feet. Cause he knew that was a touchdown. You know, it is what it is. But I'm excited. Goddamn, Deontay Foreman, goddamn, is brought the ground and pound game back to Charlotte. We are back to keep pounding. So this is a very exciting time right now, you know. Only thing is, I would like to see Matt Corral, but we ain't gonna get to see him, you know, because he's injured. Besides that, man, shout out to Z Baby, the motherfucking GOAT. Shout out to everybody, all the C3 cast. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Everybody have a great day and get ready for this goddamn can of whoop ass. We're gonna open up on the Bengals Sunday. Everybody have a great night. It'll be a great night. Keep pounding, goddammit.
Good people.
I find it hilarious that like Sea Dog and G Baby, they have a lot of camaraderie with one
They have
another,
an alliance.
but they don't agree on much.
No,
Dude, let me tell you. G Baby don't want to hear shit about PJ Walker or about Matt Corral,
right? Or
what
what does he call Pipsqueak or whatever he calls him?
Dude, he is him and G Baby are two different.
I like this one comment someone said. So I want to make G Baby merch, and I want to have a coffee cup that has "Bro, G Baby was right," and then I want to have another one that says G Baby Tears. And someone wrote in the chat, it was Jamie Rivas, his good comment. He said, "Yep, G Baby's too busy crying today because we didn't trade away our entire defense for Bryce Young picks." I thought that was good because he does want to trade J.C. Horn. Speaking of, can you bring up that graphic of J.C. Horn and how good he's been? We're going to the next call. This is the guy that G Baby wants to trade away. Next call. We got just a couple more, and let's get push along.
This is BC Dog 1983 again. My second call. Tony, Cody, let me know if I got a cash app you for this call, and I will.
No, man.
But
we got you, bro.
Real quick, my man in the bottom right with the big ass beard.
Great.
Only reason I call back in. What's up with the goddamn PJ Walker hate? PJ Walker is throwing motherfucking dimes. I was at the game this past Sunday. He was throwing motherfucking dimes all fucking game.
Hey,
there was not one point in the game where I felt like we were going to lose the game because I knew we had a quarterback that could will this offense down the field and get fucking points. We haven't had that since Cam fucking Newton. Not goddamn Sam Darnold. Not goddamn Baker Mayfield. Get down my goddamn 2 touchdowns with goddamn Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. The fucking game is over with. But PJ just came out here and showed you, my guy, that it doesn't matter. He's not going to get down. He's going to goddamn ball the whole fucking game. That's one reason I called back in, man. I'm tired of hearing this goddamn PJ hate, man. The goddamn the co-host on the bottom right on the goddamn C3 Podcast. Man, come on, man, stop that shit, man. PJ is fucking balling. Until he fuck up, he's fucking balling. Like, come on, man, I don't want to hear that shit, man. Man, he didn't even play like this. Right.
We got you, C-Dog. Thank you for the call.
First of all, can I respond?
Defend yourself, Greg.
Yeah. I never said CJ was playing like garbage. In fact,
PJ.
he was playing. Yeah, PJ.
You've definitely said well. CJ was playing like garbage. By the way, he's been playing. He played all right last week.
Played one good play. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But anyway, I never said he was playing bad. I've actually complimented him on how good he was playing, and I do hope that he plays well. I just am not ready to sign PJ Walker to a long-term deal after having one really good game and one decent game.
Yeah,
let's look at the stats because I was just pulling this up right before the call. Over the last 2 games, we've scored more points than we have all year. And we're saying, PJ's playing great. Through 2 games, PJ Walker has 494 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Pretty good numbers.
Right.
The running game has 370 yards, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. So a lot of what we've had in the last 2 games with PJ playing so well is having a fantastic running game to go with that. Like I said, I'm not knocking PJ. I like him. I would love for him to be that story and be that guy who comes in. But I'm just not sold on signing him to a long-term deal yet. However, I want him to be our quarterback right now. He's the best quarterback we have on the roster. And I'm behind him the rest of the year to do really well. I'm just not at the point where I want to sign him to a long-term deal after 2 games.
If he plays us out of a top 10 pick, guess what? We better be rooting for this mug.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And what do you pay him, to be honest? Think about that. What if how about this? Imagine what a crazy storyline. Panthers hire Steve Wilks, bring back Ben McAdoo, and start PJ Walker in 2023. What a fucking story that would be.
Crazy.
But you would have to sign him to a deal.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what that did. No, but like, even if it was a 1-year deal, do you give him 18 million?
19 million?
No, how about
9
this?
million?
Something like
5
that.
million?
No. Tell me if you think this is fair. give him a 2-year deal. Give him 20 million, but hear me out. Hold on, let me give you all the stipulations. 20 million, 10 the first year, and this is if we get to the playoffs. And then the next year is like how about this? I'll say 15 million, but he has an opportunity to get to 20 if incentives, if he continues to play at a higher level. Mind you, this is us talking about if we make it to the playoffs, right? Now that's right now no one would think that that's even possible for us. But we'll have to break him off a reasonable amount of money and one that doesn't tie you down forever. And I think a 2-year deal is reasonable. It's not too much, and you could probably give yourself some outs in that amount of time. I think
if he gets us to the playoffs, is he going to take just $10 million?
I say 20.
If you think he's a start, 20 over 2 years is $10 million a year. Starters making damn $20 million easy. That's a cheap starter in this league.
But again, it goes back to this.
You don't believe it. You want to pay this motherfucker scraps, but you believe in him much.
I mean, no, look, I think I'm giving him a reasonable amount. I want him to be the bridge to Matt Corral. So to me, this is a good bridge contract.
Crazy. That'd be insane. You better negotiate it before the draft.
You're going to pay so much more for Jimmy Garoppolo.
So
I don't want Jimmy Garoppolo.
That top end, all he is a bridge quarterback?
I want to draft that sucker.
So you're going to reach for a quarterback if it's not C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young? What if we're picking 4 and those 2 are gone?
I don't know if it's a reach. I don't know if it's a reach, to be honest. I bet you there's some other guys in there that are awesome.
Everybody's going to have problems.
What about that Carolina? Everybody says that kid from UNC is really good.
He's a freshman. He's not eligible.
Oh, not eligible. I don't know. I let y'all draft nerds tell me. I let y'all draft nerds tell me.
Right.
Dude, you weren't saying Malik Willis. You weren't saying Malik Willis at this time 2 years ago. So you'll find somebody.
No.
You'll find somebody. You'll find the next Justin Herbert for me.
I have evidence showing you that I was on Malik Willis, even up to 2.
Not in the top 4 pick. You would not say you would. You would have called it a reach at top 4.
The top 4 picks.
That's what I'm saying. You'll find us that.
Will Levis and Hendon Hooker, if you take them,
you're trying. Nobody else is going to come out and shoot up the draft boards.
At this point, we know who's
the next Trey Lance. Who's the next Zach Wilson? There's got to be somebody up there.
It's Will Levis. But
we were not saying those dudes' names at this time, the year before they got drafted.
But
sorry, it was later on in
quarterback class.
Oh my gosh!
There are 2 guys at the top that everyone knows the name of, and I'm telling you, if we're
what about the Wake Forest kid?
Dude, no, not at all. If we're picking 3 or 4,
good.
If we're picking 3 or 4, if Will Levis or Hendon Hooker, everyone is going to say that you overdrafted them. Everyone will. Now Hooker is doing good.
What if they turn out to be great though? You didn't overdraft them.
And
you didn't overdraft,
don't you?
No. You say that about ifs and buts, not what ifs. And the other thing is that if you nail the quarterback, you didn't overdraft anybody.
Right.
Sorry. Like if they work out, you didn't overdraft anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Did you overdraft Patrick Mahomes? Nope.
All right. They also did.
Did you overdraft Josh Allen?
How about Mitch Trubisky? Was he overdrafted? Yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't work out. Any player that doesn't work out is overdrafted, whether in the 3rd, the 4th, or the 1st.
It's true.
You're gonna reach for a quarterback just because you think we have to have one.
Dude, we were ready to draft Malik Willis and your boy Matt Corral at 6 this year. People would have said this. What if we would have done that? What would people have told us?
No, but look,
we overdrafted, and you would have gone out there and said no.
But look, Malik Willis actually has the physical upside that you can see being a franchise quarterback.
Right. You mean at 5'9"?
No, he's not 5'9". He's like 6'1".
He is not no 6'1".
Cody, is it's so hard because your argument for Matt Corral is the same argument that you're getting upset with us for arguing about, is that the only tape we have to look at is college tape. You're right. It's all we have to look at. But the college tape I have to look at shows me that C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are better quarterbacks than Matt Corral. It's just what it shows me. You know, I'm not saying Matt Corral's a bad quarterback, but if we have the opportunity to get one of these guys, it's not a reach because we have Matt Corral. There is no guarantee, just like with those guys, that Matt Corral is going to be anything. Matt Corral could be the next Will Grier, for all we know. Like, seriously.
Look at this. Oh, yeah, here we go. Look, 2 comments I got to highlight. One is the next one. Go ahead, put the next one up. Daniel Castro, how about the Brown haters? Cough, Tony. You're right. Now everybody's sucking off Derek Brown as the best defensive player on our team. People are going nuts about it, and all they said was overdraft and how he sucked for the first 2 years. Here's my thing, Cody. If Matt Corral is as good as you think he's going to be, if you picked him at 6, he would be worth it.
Yeah.
So that's my point about this, is not a reach if you believe in those dudes. So no, and look, and why Big Jordan said, what about from Baker Bottoms to Levis? Well, first, why Big Jordan, I didn't ask for us to go trade for Baker. When we got Baker, I was hoping it would get bad, and I just got behind it.
Yeah.
Like I got behind, I was just excited. I was just like, please work. But at the end of the day, I didn't say go draft Baker Mayfield. And I don't know anything about this Levis dude. Oh, the only thing that, and I let Cody do this stuff. I think the Levis thing, from what I've heard, is that it's just because he's a big motherfucker.
Right.
He's like 6'3", 230. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like
he can run.
Right. It's like, so it's just like, so other than that, he has this physical.
Yeah.
He looks good in a football uniform, while your boy Bryce Young doesn't.
Yeah, and he's also not in Alabama.
All right, let's do the last call. Let's last call, and then we still got crap to do, man. So let's last call.
Hey guys, it's John. Tony, you were asking me when I started following PJ Walker, or when I became aware of him. Anyway, I happen to suffer from liking obscure football leagues. Such as the European Football League, and the USFL, the XFL, etc. So I was watching PJ Walker from game 1, and I could tell he had something that the other players around him did not have. So I don't know, man. Then I think it was like game 3, and it's the highlight that is probably his most well-known highlight from the XFL, but he does this little sidearm throw. I think it was to Cam Akers, maybe. Wait, that's not the right player. But anyway, it was just, the commentator's like, oh, he's got that Mahomes magic. And I was like, oh my God, he's got his own swagger to him. He's got that Walker wonder. So, and then, after that, I think the Panthers I think it was before that, we had just signed Rule as our head coach. And so I could see the connection between Temple and Rule and PJ there. And then, of course, later we sign him. I'm like, oh, my freaking God. And I was like, this guy's going to be a great quarterback. I swear to God, guys, you're going to witness the Walker wonder. And Cody's already calling him that. I'm telling you. Anyway, yeah, that's a long story about how I think, I don't think I was the only one. I think, Nick's, seeing PJ in the XFL, people shit on the XFL, they shit on the USFL, they shit on the European Football League, which you probably have never heard of, but here's a little side story. Cavante Turpin was on the Hamburg Sea Devils, won the championship in the European Football League, the EFL, then went to the USFL, and I think he was on I can't remember what team he was on in the USFL, but I think was the MVP of their championship game. He's a kick returner. Goes to the Dallas Cowboys and is tearing it up as a kick returner in the Cowboys. So, got to follow that obscure football, y'all. Anyway, keep pounding and witness the Walker Wonder.
I think so.
Did he mention Jake Delhomme?
I don't think so. No.
Jake Delhomme got,
right?
He was in European Football League and came that's where he wasn't good enough to go into the NFL right away.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these, this is the need for a developmental football league is important.
Agreed.
It's the problem is that when you try to make them competitors of the NFL, financially, it's not going to work. The NFL has got to be the one that builds it.
Right.
And it's got to be like AAA, AA, and you are cultivating that. And the proceeds, the money you are making, the bazillions of dollars you're making on Sundays during the regular season, you take a portion of that and you invest it into your own league, essentially, because it's not financially going to work. Without that, you need a backer who benefits from it, whether it makes immediate money or not. And the NFL is that person.
Yeah. Well, the only problem with that, Tony, is that they already have that in college football, which is free to the NFL for them to have it.
It's not enough, though.
But here's the thing: is while y'all are naming these names of players that do come out, you're right. These are 1 in a million. These are diamonds in the rough. Like, the difference between XFL and AFL and all these minor leagues and college is very negligible, if any at all. In fact, there's probably some college teams that could beat some of these minor league teams, which is why the NFL probably wouldn't invest in needing.
But that's not the point. It's about time, Greg. It's not about whether or not that college is that role right now, and it's free for them.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that there are very small rosters on the NFL, and the window of making a team is so short. And a kid that is 21 or 23, who's not ready right then, might give you 3 good years when he's 26, 27, 28, and he can grow into that skill set. You know what I'm saying? There are players that blossom. They need more development.
You're talking
after
about
college
drastically changing the length of the full-time length of a lot of players' careers, though.
Well, you know what? For them, they don't care, because if they can get 3 years in the league, that's enough for them to change their life. What I'm saying is Jake Delhomme, Kurt Warner. There are a lot. How about this? Was it Warren Moon? Canadian Football League, maybe?
I don't know.
Like, he won, Warren Moon is the greatest quarterback of all time. You know what I'm saying? I think he was Canadian Football League. I'm just saying this is not everybody is pro ready from day one. And we've seen that with even great draft picks. And the problem is the window to make teams is so. PJ Walker may be an example of this. There are players who, and I'm not saying they're going to be the stars of the league. You know, the guys the Cam Newtons, these guys, they're going to go and they're going to dominate from day one. But it is the Deontay Browns. It's they need reps, they need time, they need practice, they need to grow into man bodies, and they need to devote their time to that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like 4 years in college between the age of 17 and 22 might not be enough. You know, it's like it's the window of opportunity is so small. It's the 1% of 1%. That's the thing. Here, why isn't baseball? Baseball benefits from AAA.
Baseball invests way more.
That's what I'm saying. The NFL makes more money. They need to.
It's also a much less physical sport.
Okay, that's fine.
But it is. When you're talking about football, and then players are going from what would prompt a player to go to a minor league team? Because if you're playing college football, you're already putting your body through the hells of a college football schedule.
Well, they get paid.
But
they get paid. So many athletes opt into baseball minor leagues than go into college.
So
number one. Number two is this. It's more about even people coming out of college who aren't going to get drafted, who could get drafted if they had 2 more years.
Yeah. Or it could just be some people, like you said, Tony, that get paid. Maybe some people know they're never going to make the NFL, but I know I'm pretty damn good at football, and if I can make $200,000 a year to play on this minor league team, I will.
It would
some
help.
people may
Look,
just settle for that.
We need a developmental league. There's only 53 men on a roster. We've been to training camp, and the training camps, I'm sorry, man, the bubble is only 2 or 3 people. 84 on the roster is not going to make it. No, it's just, look, even if you look at college rosters, they have double the people. They have double the people on the roster.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is this, is that they
play big time football. I get what you're saying. I think that you're overestimating the amount of people that are actually going to be able to make a legit feeder league for the NFL.
How about this? How do you cultivate kickers then?
I mean, I don't know. Is that the only reason you're doing it? Is just for kickers?
No. That's just one example. How about there's come on, people. The
NCAA is the minor leagues of the NFL.
But what I'm saying is those kids are done by 23.
Yeah.
They're done. You don't know. Look, man, I mean, like, when did you grow into people don't even grow into their man bodies by that time. People are idiots. Do you know what your mental capacity? You're not a pro. Look, do you have, like, if you, my mental ability when I was 21, like my responsibility, maybe it wasn't, like, maybe I overestimate what I am now, but like we put so much pressure, so much this on this, sorry, man, a 19-year-old kid is a kid.
Yeah, but I mean, I could say that about myself at 33 too, man. Well, like I'm almost 40.
Man, if I went back to graduate school right now, I would be published. Like I would like, I mean, look, I was and I had a 4.0 in graduate school. So like, I mean, I did very well in graduate school, but if I could go back to school at this point in my life when I'm more mature, more like this and that, and I've got more experience, I fucking dominate.
Right.
What I'm just saying is this.
Could you play physically like you could, like right now as you could then?
I'm just saying a kid at 23, if he can't get drafted, may not just completely be out of it.
I hear you.
Like, like if you don't get drafted, you ain't it. And there's really it's so small. And look, PJ Walker is a great example. You're fucking ready to call PJ Walker a fucking franchise quarterback. You're ready to give him a 2-year deal. And this motherfucker did not get drafted, has not been on any teams. You know what I'm saying? He's the example. He is the reason you need a developmental league.
I agree with Cody. I just don't think there's enough players to justify that. And if you're saying, well, this person who played in college,
rid of PJ, then he's got to go.
And can't make it in the NFL. Now we've got to give him another chance.
How many PJ Walkers are you expecting there to be out there?
Well, how many chances are you going to give him? Is my question. Like seriously, like if they can't get at the NFL, you make another
50,
lead to give him another chance.
That's worth
it. If they can't make it, then you make another lead to give him another chance. Like either.
How about this? What if you could be bringing up linebackers? How about linebackers? A linebacker, man. AJ Klein just got traded.
Fine, but here's another thing, Tony. A lot of these minor league teams for baseball, like right here, the Charlotte Knights, they're a feeder team for the Chicago White Sox. So how are you going to do it? If the NFL is going to have say-so over this, is every team going to have to buy their own, like, semi-pro? Where do they put them? Where do they play them? There's so much that
would be great. Why not?
But there's so much that goes into this for such a small number of players, you know?
The return's just not there, yeah.
That's a lie. I disagree.
If you can name me right now off the top of your head 10 players off the top of your head, then
Jake
I can say
Delhomme,
you may have a valid argument.
PJ Walker, Demir Bird, Shy Smith, Matt, how about this? What if you could do this? How about this? Here's one for you. What if you could draft players like Matt Corral and say this, we're going to put them in this league for a year?
No, fuck that. Why would I or Matt Corral want to do that?
Because your boy Trevor Lawrence, who's the greatest fucking quarterback in the history of the world,
Now you're talking about a bunch of other shit that has nothing to do with what
No, not at all. Is that could it not benefit
Trevor Lawrence?
How does sitting behind a player, like you don't want, all right, so you're like, oh, what if Patrick Mahomes could go and take snaps?
I just, like I said, Tony,
reps. You said he needs reps.
I just feel like there's got to be a cutoff point at some point in time, man. Like, where do you draw the line? Okay, you played in college, you made it to the pros, you didn't cut it in the pros. Why?
How many people do that in that AAA? So many people go to AAA and don't make it. But guess what?
Exactly.
It still serves a greater good. And you're talking about an entity, the NFL. You know what? You want college to do it? Fuck y'all, man. The taxpayers got to pay for it.
College is already doing it.
That's what I'm saying. I think that we should outlaw college sports at this point.
Well,
now they're getting paid with the NIL deal.
I know we should get rid of college sports. Period.
That's what you're saying.
On state schools, the taxpayer is the one funding the G League for the NFL.
Schools, how about this? Some of these colleges are bigger than some of these fucking NFL teams. Dude, they have
and guess what? Taxpayer dollars, bro.
Yeah, people don't give a shit though.
I do because that is the bullshit. Bullshit.
It's bullshit. Not enough to get rid of Tennessee or Georgia or Clemson or
you
LSU.
Should separate it completely from the academic enterprise. The fact is
they shouldn't
that
get scholarships.
Agree.
If that's the case. If you're going to separate, they shouldn't get scholarships.
I don't like the tax, but I think the remnants of college football are back from a day where we used to go, oh, I work at a grocery store and play college football.
People have thought that for decades, and it still hasn't changed.
No, it's professional sports, dude.
Right.
It's semi-professional sports funded by tax dollars. They profit. Those universities are making profits because of our tax dollars.
Yeah, but don't those universities also provide like teacher salaries and scholarships?
No, they don't get no money from them that sports shit. Only thing they get is increased enrollment, they try to tell you. But you know what? If you look at every financial, there's only like 10 college football programs that make money.
Yeah.
There's only like 10. This is tax. It's socialism. So you know what? If you want to go it's true. It's true. You want to, if you want to be a capitalist, we should.
Football is socialism.
It is. If you want to make, if you're a purist for capitalism and a conservative, you should be making the NFL do this. Because if you're going to make college, the taxpayers paying for the NFL's developmental football league.
Boom. Blue, no matter who.
It's true. It's true. Oh, nah, it's on now. Now you're in trouble, Cody.
I ain't in trouble with shit.
You in trouble.
How about this? Let's move on to ice up so I can ice you the fuck up.
Oh, I got
like hot-headed on this nothing conversation, dude. There's never going to be a fucking AAA football team for as long as I live. How about this? If there's ever a feeder team.
How about this?
I bet you $200.
I bet you an ECU player. I bet you an ECU player has had a better pro season than any Clemson player.
Out of here. Who?
Chris Johnson.
Tom Brady.
Chris Johnson.
Okay.
CJ2K, okay. Bro. 2,000 rushing yards, 800 receiving, bitch. Boom.
How many other do y'all have? Come on.
David Garrard, Jeff Blake.
Ed Reed. Y'all had an Ed Reed? Did y'all ever have an Ed Reed? Oh, yeah, I don't think so.
CJ2K, bro. 2,000 yards rushing, 800 receiving. One of the greatest fucking running back seasons in the history of football.
What are we even talking about now? Oh, now we're doing ECU versus Clemson?
Nah, because you want to, you try to draw that here. Here's one more for you. Here's one more for you.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man, he had stuff prepared.
Here's one more for you.
He was just trying to fight. He said that 2 years ago. If any of you think Gardner Minshew are better than Trevor Lawrence, you're up a crack cocaine, dude.
He can't read Dr. Seuss, but he can outrun Cody.
Some of what you're smoking. It's not hard to do that, though. How about this? I can run circles around your ass. Let's go. Let's race, old timer. Let's do a 40 time, me and you, and see who wins. Yeah, I bet you it's me. You'll be out of breath before we get to the 20-yard line. What's up?
I'm in the best shape of my adult life, bro.
Get that Gardner Minshew bullshit off the screen. Let's hurry up and ice some fools up.
Now we have one more thing. Kim Aquano's good. Oh,
Yeah,
you should get iced up for that, Mister. I want to make him a good. Yeah.
How about
How
we
many
just-
rapists does ECU have? Oh
my God.
Wow.
We probably have a couple in our history somewhere, man. Like,
Every
by the
school
way,
probably has
and you
like
know
4
what?
of them.
ECU has a history. Man, we got the hottest girls, bro.
ECU sucks. How about
You
that?
don't know shit about
This
ECU
is
number
your bullshit
one.
fucking football takes. How about that? That's
Mm.
how bad ECU sucks. What's up?
Man, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you too, bro.
Oh, don't worry. I'm about to take you down. I got
You
more
ain't
for
doing
you.
shit. Shut
got
up.
more for you.
You ain't doing shit.
More for you. I promise you. Best player, our best player, better than your best player. Boom. Did Ed Reed go to Clemson?
Oh, 2 of
I
them.
mean, obviously did. Ed Reed went to Clemson? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
did
a good one.
who was the refrigerator? The fridge for the
Oh, you don't
85
know him?
Bears?
You don't know him? You don't say his name?
Bettis?
No, the big
No,
defensive
the
lineman,
Perry. Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah,
My bad.
refrigerator Perry also was a Clemson Tiger.
I mean, my team has a better player than any of y'all's teams ever had too.
I don't even know who your team
Who's that?
Julius Peppers, baby, Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Toast. But you know what? How about this? I went to my school, bitches.
Yeah, I tried.
All right. Let's do these ice up picks. I got a couple of them.
That's so sad. He said, I tried.
I tried. And actually, I would have ended up being. I had the scores to get in. I just didn't think I could have. It would have been cheaper for me to go to Carolina than to go to the private school that I went.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Best
Best bargain in North Carolina if you're.
I was young and stupid and doing it by myself, So
too conservative too.
All right, let's ice some of these fools up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
I'm mad.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Oh, you'll get happy. You'll get happy the same way you got mad.
Why? You gonna make fun of yourself, bitch?
No.
Damn.
Oh, I know. I'm like Joey
Your
coming
whack-ass
after this.
ponytail.
You guys, by
I
the
thought you said you
way.
had 5 of them. Why don't you hurry up? Or
Oh, you
something?
want me to go
Oh,
first? I didn't know you wanted me to go first.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine's an easy one.
Me?
Or whoever wants to go first, man.
Gosh. All right. So here. Oh gosh.
CK's
This
dancing.
one.
Maybe he should
Hold
go
on.
first.
What'd you say?
All right. Here's
I
my
said
first one.
CK's dancing. Maybe he should go first.
Here's my first one. This is my first one right here.
Don't play TikTok music.
This is this kid's Halloween costume.
Oh, God.
Oh, dude, how are people still doing this shit?
All right, so so this kid went as
God,
Michael
so
Jordan.
cringe.
This kid went as Michael Jordan,
Dude, how? Oh my!
and
What parents?
so the
Oh
ISO pick is clearly to the parents. But the other thing is like, have you ever seen? I've never seen blackface to this degree. Like, first of all, how do you even do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm too lazy to overdress for Halloween. But like,
You're honestly putting your child in danger.
yes. Oh no, totally parents. I'm just
fucking
saying this is like, but this is over the top. And if you go so over the top, why didn't you go and do the hands and the neck too?
Yeah, it's like
I mean, if you're going that far,
dude.
so that's my first
my
ISO
God.
pick. I
That
told you,
dude.
dude, that shit is crazy, bro.
Dude,
Let's
holy
see.
shit! I was not prepared for that, by the way. That's
All right, you didn't see that one? You see
No.
everything before I see it on the internet.
No, I swear to God, I never saw that shit.
I know, it's
dude. What
fucking
a-
crazy, dude.
God,
Like, all right, so here's another one. This dude's it's now I don't believe that. I some of these I just don't believe on the internet. You know what I'm saying? This guy posted on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Yeah, Twitter. He said, this dude stole my laptop and then sent me an email using my email. And it says, bro, how is it? I know I stole your laptop yesterday. I need the money as I have been struggling to make ends meet. I see you are busy with a research proposal. I've attached it. And if there are any other files that you need, please alert me before Monday at noon because I have found a customer.
Oh, how nice of him.
That one made me laugh. That one made me laugh. Do you see this right here? This lady who dressed up as Ann Campbell.
Oh,
I saw.
Look at this. This has got some layers to it. I don't know if I like it or
no D.
Dan Campbell with no D.
Dude, that's hilarious.
It's good. It's good. It's bad. It's bad.
People were like mad at this. I don't understand why people were mad at this.
All right, here's my next one. I told you I had a bunch.
We got a quarterback. Let's go.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe, we got a quarterback. We got a quarterback.
This is not an ice up. This I just feel sorry.
Let's go. First place. First place.
And then we lost.
Oh, man.
Poor guy.
That dude didn't deserve that. That dude didn't deserve what just happened.
None of us deserved it, man.
No.
Oh
my last is a question, I guess. And yeah, I think that's all of them. My last one was a question, and that is this: have you seen? I want to know. This is just something we got to follow later on. And sorry, my ice up picks are just me and things that I'm interested in. Brandon Cooks was not traded today, and then he tweeted this out: "Don't take a man's kindness for granted. Covered the lies for too long. Those days are done. Crossed the line with playing with my career." So Nick Casario, he's telling the ice up. My ice up pick goes to that kid's parents for not going all the way through with it. If you're gonna go with it, you should have done the hands and the neck. Like, I mean, if you're gonna put your kid out there like that, you should have at least gave him a fighting chance. And what the hell did you use to do it? Like, what kind of makeup do you even use?
I guess.
I don't even know. Like, sorry. So that's and my other ice up pick is Trevor Lawrence because he fucking sucks, dude.
Oh my god,
he's terrible, dude.
Because your takes fucking suck. How about
you wanted to trade away an entire draft for a guy who can't throw 230 yards.
I'm icing people up. I'm icing up Tennessee players who are going to headbutt their teammates. But forget that they're not wearing a helmet.
Broke his nose.
Oh,
poor guy. Did he break his nose? Chip his tooth?
Like, oh, look, you can tell he felt that one. It's like, oh, damn, bro. I've thought about that too.
Oh,
dude, that's what I'm saying. I've thought about that. Like, if I was a football player, bro, I probably at some point would have done some dumb shit like that. Like your headbutt never on the sideline, someone comes up and just boom and just smack him in the head. Oh, dude.
What's funny is that's a bad situation. If he'd have nosed it before and had stuck his hand up to block it, it would have broke his hand. So
yeah, it's better to break your
nose
nose than your hand if you're a football player. What a dick. Ice up.
Yeah. So ice up, son.
Did you have another one?
Nah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
pussy.
You want to go? You want me to go?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. I'll just go ahead and throw mine up there real quick. So my boss the other day, we have, safety briefings at work where they call everybody together and they tell us the safety tips for the day and they go over things that have happened. And, there's always some kind of little snippet he had. He had a little funny thing. He was talking about inflation and how we have a brand new Five Guys in my town.
Ooh,
and he's talking about how he went to Five Guys to go get lunch and he got 2 hot dogs.
$42 later.
A bag of fries and a drink, and it was $19. And I was like, there is no.
Oh, that's Five Guys, dude. That's not inflation. That's just Five Guys.
And it must be because I told myself, I was like, there's no way it's that much. So while we were on here just now, I went online.
That's true.
To see if this is actually true.
That's actually the cheapest Five Guys ticket I've ever heard of.
And it's actually not even true because I got 2 hot dogs, a little fry, and a regular drink, and it's $20.36. So it was higher than $19. That's absolutely ridiculous. Five Guys is not that good. Like I've been there before.
The burgers
it's
are
okay
pretty
food.
good. I've never had
pretty good, dude. You go, we go party. We would go to Bank of America, and we always over party the night before we go to the game. We go to the Epicenter and all this, and get drunk. And you go like, and we one or two times you're dumb enough to go to Five Guys, dude. It's like $22, man.
Yeah,
and that is like that's hot dogs, dude. Man, you get a burger, bro.
Dude. Yeah.
And they're all right. I mean, they're good, but it's like a Cubby's burger. And if you're from a Highway 55, I don't know where you get what they got around y'all's joint. It ain't that good. No. And they'd be like, oh, we give you 72 pounds of French fries. Well, why don't you just give me a regular amount of fries and not charge me $72?
Hey, Shake Shack is the best fast food burger. I hear nothing else.
That's an Eastern thing. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've never had Whataburger. People like Whataburger a lot. In-N-Out Burger. Those are all West Coast things. We don't got those. We don't got those. You want the best cheap option? How about this? You want the super cheap good burger? I don't go there no more. My health. It's not good for your health. Checkers.
Never had a Checkers.
Oh yeah, I grew up with Checkers.
Dude, that shit is good.
The fries are awesome.
You get like used to be able to get 2 for $5 back in the day, bro. 2 for $5. Oh no. Best fast food burger. Good question.
Cookout, man.
Cookout. I was gonna say Cookout.
Where else can you go and get a burger, corn dog?
It's just cheap.
And
it's just cheap.
Right, but
I don't think it's good.
It's good and it's cheap, but it's not. Dude, Shake Shack's burgers are like legit gourmet burgers.
I don't think I've had Shake Shack burgers.
They're awesome, dude. The next time you're on this in town.
And I was thinking about this the other day is does Burger King, first of all, worst service in the world. Burger
100%.
King. But the Whopper is legit. Like a Whopper is a legit sandwich for a fast food joint. It's ruled for a long time. But what did they do to put that smell in there? The Burger King smell is attractive.
Yeah. Well, I think that they have a lot of similar to like the whole McDonald's with their golden arches. Like the only reason that they are the color that they are is because they did market research and found that makes people hungry, that specific color, right? Like it's just little things like that these people do. Anyway,
the smell, they insert the smell into whatever they're doing, man. There's no way their food's that good that it smells that good.
By the way, with regard to service, it's been going downhill tremendously for pretty much every establishment outside of Chick-fil-A, which now is starting to sound like a cult.
Runs the world. People say that Chick-fil-A should be like the government.
They should, but
it's so good though.
They're so good.
No, it's the service, man. The food's all right.
No, the
food's really good, but it's like a too limited of a menu.
Well, it's the same thing for Chick-fil-A. I know I went there one time.
That's what we're talking about.
My kids wanted me to get these chicken minis or something like that, and like I got like 3 combos, and it was like $48. And like, you got to be kidding me, man.
But dude, it only took you 8 seconds, and they're like, my pleasure. They fucking clean your windshield while you're there.
Yeah.
The Chick-fil-A by my house, the line to the drive-thru is always packed. Like it's never not.
There's not a single one that I've been to that's not packed.
Yeah, like, dude, they fucking print money, dude.
It doesn't matter what time of the day, which is why, like I sit there, all of the people there are way too happy to be working there, and that's why it's a fucking cult. Like I have never in my life.
They just hire high school girls that are like in their
right, but is that not a cult? Like it's like this
like Mormons run that shit. Or
middle-aged manager is like, you know what? We're gonna hire young, attractive
style.
Teenagers. And we're going to have them always say my pleasure. And then that's going to go with them for the rest of their life. And all they're going to think about is pleasure. Anyway, but all right, I'll go to my ice up here. Cody, you know that's something else?
No, we're heading to 4 hours. So
Chick-fil-A is the easiest franchise to start and own, but it's also the least lucrative because like in a normal franchise, you have to buy all the shit that goes inside of your restaurant, whereas Chick-fil-A just provides it all for you, but they take so much more of the cut.
They print money, bro. They print money. Them mugs make so much money. They make so much money they closed on Sunday.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, CK. I'm done.
So mine is a little background on me. My wife and I have been married for a little over 11 years. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And after about 2 years of marriage, we started to try to have our first child. It took like 3 years, and it was 3 miraculous years for me. An emotional roller coaster for her. Great years for me. And so we had our son after a couple miscarriages, and even with him, there were some complications. So we were lucky to have him. But then we moved. Obviously we're like son and done. We're good. We said, we've been easing up to the idea of having another one. And as we already have talked about, I have one on the way. So we thought about this we're like, hey, listen, if we're going to try, we got to try now. We're getting to a point where it needs to happen. And so we're like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try it for 1 month. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, no worries. 1 month. And it happened. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm going to be able to do this another 3 years, try to get constantly going. It's amazing, right? Fuck no. 1 month. The good news is
one pump chump.
It is a girl. It is a girl. So we get the benefit of having a boy and a girl. So I had my son. He's now 6 years old. My daughter will be due in May 1st. So probably around April or May. So it's a little whiles away, but it's something we're looking forward to. But I'm icing my boys up because they did not understand.
They swim too good. Yeah, they on the swim team. I gotta take my son to swim practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and your boys are on the fucking Michael Phelps regiment.
I know, dude. I can't. I'm icing my guys up, man. That's all I'm saying.
Funny story about that is when we were having our first child, who is now, he's 14, he's gonna be 15 this year. I was young, and we just married, not too long, a year and a half or something like that. And we're trying for the baby. And the first month, we didn't have the baby. And it turns out we are extremely fertile too. So that was kind of weird that we didn't. So we're fucking like rabbits. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this lady at my wife's work was like, well, the problem is you're doing it too much. You got to let them reload. I was like, what's this lady's name? I got a problem with this girl. I was like, what? What?
First ice up ever.
What's her name? Yeah, that's the first ice up ever. I was icing my balls up and icing that bitch up at the same time.
To that point, to Tony, I'll say this. So there were some things going on with my wife early on in this pregnancy, and the doctor was telling her, you guys got to abstain for a while. It was like 2 or 3 months, right? And I told my wife, I was like, what's her doctor, what's her name, and what's her license number?
We're getting we're getting this shit revoked.
We're suing her for malpractice. She does not understand the psychological torment she's created in this household.
I know. Part of this is about me, baby. Part of this is about me. Cody Lashley, this ain't about you jerk ass motherfucker.
Yes, the fuck it is, stupid.
Oh my gosh. My name's Tony Dunn, C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where we are the longest running Panthers podcast in the history of podcasts of Panthers Podcast. And I'm literal about that. Not only are we are in our 10th year, never missing a Tuesday night. We got content all week, every week. But look at this. It's fucking 3 hours and 41 minutes. My kid was at dinner tonight. He's like, Dad, how do you talk about this for 3 hours? I was like, oh, well, And he jinxed us tonight. So we went 42 more minutes at this point. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks, Michael Davis, patron saint. Love you.
All the new
today was All Saints Day.
Super fans.
Holy day. Yeah, thank you, all the new super fans. And also people who listen on the podcast, if you're still listening, good God, you are the coolest motherfuckers I've ever met. But we switch podcasts, and one of the things they do now when we insert the ads is they do double ads. Let me know if I'm putting too many in. I try to do them every 30 minutes. Just let me know. It's a new platform. I don't know entirely how the listener experience is. If we need to reduce it, if you're like, this is cumbersome, let me know. Just let me know I want to get some feedback. We're on Spotify, iTunes, all those places. Cody Lash, my arch rival and my brother.
Yeah, man. You can find me at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. Like on Twitter, as in life. I'm always talking shit, dude, and I have a great time doing it.
He's a fool, and don't I know?
But I am. I'm the prophet in this motherfucker. I bring the fire, and you are grateful for this fire that I bring. And be on the look some debate things in the work, because apparently Tony's not the only one that wants to come at me and tell me how dumb and asinine my takes are. So be on the lookout for that. Friday free for all at 7. This Friday at 7, but you can join the show, be a part of the show. And I'm still the Panthers analyst at drafttech.com. Check out all my content over there.
Greg?
Check me out at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter is my personal handle, or check out my other show, Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse, live 9 p.m. Eastern.
We got to get on this, guys. Fridays, right after the Friday free-for-all, jump over to Greg's podcast. Look, all the things we love, House of the Dragon, Marvel stuff.
Talking about some Peripheral and some Jack Ryan season 3 this week, too.
Oh, now
and
you guys are
coming on this week.
Oh, look, you're expanding.
On this week, yeah.
Congratulations, CK, on the baby girl. I have 2 girls, and look, I know that the son is number 1 for a lot of people, but wait until these little girls, they will wrap a dad around their finger. It's amazing. They care about you. The boys care about their moms. The girls love their dads.
Yeah, I got 2 girls.
Yeah, I'm afraid of I'm afraid of losing no out of the vocabulary, but you know what you guys can do to show me some love is just go and follow me on Twitter. Show some love over there. Check out the Madden simulation every Saturday night. We do that at 9:30 typically, unless there's some extenuating circumstances. Obviously, Thursday night football coming up next week. We're gonna have to figure out something different for that. And the Madden simulation was wrong this past week. Mainly, it had De Niro hitting all those kicks, and that was the difference maker in the Madden sim and the real life. So. That being said, yeah, go check us out there.
Poor what?
I'm proud of CK, because I remember when we were trying to get CK to like 100 followers on Twitter. Dude, now he's going viral when he puts out tweets. Let's go, baby.
White Chocolate, I think you're more my brother than you are my son at this point, but we are gonna keep up this bastard son thing. And I love your profile pic, man. I would rock with you at a wedding. I think we would slay. That's it. Let's get out of here. Greg, I got to tell you something after the podcast about shorts.
All right, C3 Panther Nation. We go 4 hours.
Thank you, guys.
With me schooling Tony's ass. And we did it again.
He's a fool.
Keep pounding.